Hello, everyone, and welcome into today's episode of the Butt Fumble Sports Show on this amazing Friday. I hope you're having the best Friday you've ever had in the history of 2024 because it comes off the heels of the kickoff of the NFL season last night in a game that literally came down to a toe. As good as it can be, the script writers of the NFL did a brilliant job. Thank you for delivering the Ravens and the Chiefs game. Absolute perfection, along with a few bets and picks that we got correct yesterday, like the Chiefs money line, like the under. Appreciate you guys being with us. Under on the alternative total that we took, I should mention. But it gets even better. Why is this Friday so great? Because there's NFL football on this Friday. A rarity of rarities, but somehow the Peacock gods in this case, not the sports gods, but somehow the gods of Peacock, not even NBC, are delivering a game tonight that actually has me considering getting Peacock. I can't believe it. If you watch the show, you know I think this is the ultimate hostage move by the NFL and by NBC, but I think I have to do it because Packers and Eagles is going to be electric. I cannot wait. I am pumped. Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Dom the security guy against Cheesehead Green Bay Packer fans. I can't wait. It is going to be an amazing night down in Brazil. Hope everyone watches the game safe, whether down in Brazil or here at home. Excited to talk about the fantasy implications of that game, the betting implications of that game. Happy to give out picks. We are going to give out my game picks for that one at 10,000 likes across TikTok. So make sure if you're watching on TikTok, if you do want my game picks for tonight's action, I'll give those out at 10,000 likes. Give you guys something to tap the screen over. That said, we're going to be answering your questions for a majority of the show. Excited to do that. Drizzy, great to have you resubscribing. If you guys do want to check out all my picks for the MLB game, as well as the NFL game tonight, this weekend, and the college football action, go to my Linktree account. Check out my picks there. There are also a bunch of promos up for the sports books that are back in the show these days. Additionally, make sure you are hitting me up if you guys have questions in today's show, and subscribe if you want to catch us in a later night show. Always follow, always subscribe. Let's get to work, everybody. I have picks up on the board over on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. You can go see those there. I know you guys have a lot of fantasy questions, so let's get to those. Let's get to our fantasy questions. Joe Modelos, thanks for getting us off in the right mood. Needed it. D. Turner, thanks for sending a subscription. Appreciate people joining the show, getting people hyped. I am so pumped. I can tell the energy's good. It's going to be a great Friday, a good weekend, and everyone's going to have everything they want come their way. I'm saying it now. TB, start Amari Cooper, Kenneth Walker, and Chris Olave. TB, I'd go Kenneth Walker, Rashee, or Worthy. Long term, it's still going to be Rashee Rice. We saw Worthy break through. It was obviously a great game for him, but I don't want to overhype it. I still think there's reason to just be a little bit cautious. Best Kev, bet he wishes he wore the white cleats. No, I think that wasn't going to make the difference. I really thought it was the positioning of the defender. I thought you saw in the play in which Isaiah likely got hurt, he got pushed out of bounds. I actually think that play was in the back of his mind. The little bit of contact, the little bit of pressure by that member of the defensive, by the secondary of the Chiefs, that made the difference for me. But it isn't even about that. I really think you can untangle this game. This is why the Ravens are the Ravens and the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I don't mean that to be just kind of a cliche, but the Chiefs are winners. They figured out how to win games. The Ravens have not gotten over that hill with Lamar Jackson. They know how to win against average teams, lesser teams, maybe even good teams, but they haven't figured out how to beat the great teams. And one of the ways you do that is avoiding penalties. Didn't do that. One of the ways you do that is avoiding turnovers. You didn't do that. One of the ways you do that is by capitalizing on the turnovers of the other team. I actually thought a big moment in that game is Patrick Mahomes throws that interception to Roquan Smith, and the Ravens only got 3 points out of it. They didn't get 7. Those 4 points made a difference. You tack on the missed field goal by Tucker. That was, a 53-yarder challenging, but clearly his range is inside of 50. For all those fantasy owners, big fantasy note actually about kickers. You saw last night the age of Justin Tucker being considered the absolute number one fantasy kicker is over, because outside of 50 yards, he's not only pedestrian, he is bad at this point. So inside 50 yards, Justin Tucker remains one of the best kickers, but he is being passed. I think we can now say Harrison Butker is the best kicker in the NFL, regardless of how you feel about Kitchens or people's place in them. That said, it was a really interesting night overall. D. Turner, thank you so much for the corgi. Great to see the dog come out for that one. Official Tony, Keenan Allen or Christian Watson? It's a great question. I really don't have a good read on it. I lean slightly towards Christian Watson, but I don't have a great read on it. I really don't have a great sense of it because they're two offenses that have several different weapons. I lean slightly towards Christian Watson just because I think he's going to get a bigger play in the game tonight. Does he get enough targets to make it worth your while? I'm not sure. Do I start ETN this week? Yes, I would. Danny, hi mate, start 3. DK, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Pittman, Scary Terry, or Watson. This one's an easier play for me. Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Scary Terry for sure would be in there. And then it's between DK and Pittman. I'll lean Pittman just slightly. Mac, thoughts on Debo this week? It's a tough matchup against the Jets. For most of you, I would still recommend him being in a flex. But for a lot of you, in an 8-man league, you may not actually need to have him in the lineup. Brock Ford, great to see a subscriber in the show. Throwing a question in there. You think Chubb and TJ Hawkinson will be good this season? Good, I think, is relative. I think Chubb, I have more faith, actually, believe it enough, in Chubb. TJ Hawkinson's injury is a tough one, and the Vikings aren't playing for much, so you have to measure you have to believe that the Vikings at some point will kind of weigh out risk versus reward in Hawkinson, how much they want to use him in a year where you already lost J.J. McCarthy. You're probably not contending for a real playoff spot, so you got to be careful. Click over on Kick. Love it. Click over on Kick. Ridley or Jaden Reed? Personally, I want to go with Jaden Reed. The secondary of the Bears is better than I think, and is better than people think. And Ridley, especially being new to that team, I almost want a week to see how he kind of gels into that offense. By the way, brand new offense as well. We are back, King. You know it, Escatit, if that's how I pronounce it. Hope you remember me. Of course I do. What are your thoughts on Mark Andrews? I warned Mark Andrews owners pre-draft, pre-season, pre-game last night. I think Mark Andrews is going to regress this year. For me, it's a couple different factors. One, it was the rise of Isaiah Likely last year. Two, it's the addition of Derrick Henry. A lot of the opportunities that would go to the tight end, especially in the red zone, now go to Derrick Henry in the running game. And three, more mouths to feed overall. I feel like the tight end position usually gets lost because the egos, the money flows out to running backs and wide receivers in such a way that you almost have to appease them more if you're an offensive coordinator or a quarterback. I'm not saying that's always the case, but a variety of factors led me to believe that Mark Andrews, due to regress, I think you saw a little bit last night. That said, I say he's going to regress. That's season long. If you're looking to make a sneaky good trade, go reach out to the Mark Andrews owner today and see if you can maybe acquire him, because that's going to be one of his worst games of the year. You might be in for better games in the coming weeks, especially since they have some good matchups coming in the few weeks ahead. In fact, let me pull that up for everybody. So the Baltimore Ravens in the next few weeks play at home against the Raiders, then at Dallas, home against Buffalo, and then at Cincinnati. But they have a stretch of games later in the year where they're really good for tight end play. So Blue Jay, Swift or Mostert? Really tricky one for me. I'll lean slightly towards Swift just because he's the RB1 in that offense, and Mostert's going to be the RB2. Daily Sports 31, Steelers money line. Falcons are 2-6 as favorites. Here's my only question, though, Daily Sports. The Falcons are 2-6 as favorites in the past when they had a different quarterback, a different head coach, a different defense. They didn't have Matthew Judon, Justin Simmons, Kirk Cousins, Arthur Smith, who's going to be the offensive coordinator of the Steelers in this game. He was the head coach for, I'm assuming, all of the games you're referencing. So week 1 of the NFL, when it comes to betting, trends are not great to follow. There are certain trends that I believe in, but those are really a reflection on an old, stale team that doesn't exist anymore. Appreciate the question. Click Eckler or Chase Brown. Interesting. I'll lean slightly, I think, towards Eckler. I just think they're going to use him in a variety of ways. I'm kind of excited to see it. John, is Xavier Worthy worth getting? I don't think you're going to be able to get him. I think too many owners are going to be holding on to him if they drafted him because there's so much upside right now. Lucas Rathwell, pick one. Ayuk, Dobbs, or Palmer at the flex. Tricky one. Appreciate the comment. I'm going to fade Palmer just slightly. Between Ayuk and Dobbs, it's really tough for me. I don't want to necessarily take Ayuk in this week against Sauce Gardner. I'll say Dobbs, but it's a coin flip between those two because I think Ayuk is the better player and I think he should get more opportunities, but it's the defense he's going against that has me concerned. Larkish, should I trade Devontae Adams and Swift for Kyren Williams? I would. I actually think that is a good trade. I do think Devontae Adams is going to have a massive week against the Chargers. Let me warn you guys, I am both down on Devontae Adams season long. I also think he's going to have a big week. I know this may shock some of you out there, but you can have a duality of thought, two thoughts at the same time, even though they even at times may conflict slightly. I think Devontae Adams season long is not going to be a great own. Gardner Minshew is not a great quarterback. He will keep Devontae Adams down, as well as overall that offense being weaker with no Josh Jacobs, more attention shifting to take away Devontae Adams. That said, I think Devontae Adams is out for blood against the Chargers. I think he's at least going to get 75 yards. I actually think he could easily go for 100. But if you were playing the player prop bet, over 74.5 receiving yards or 75 plus receiving yards is a prop I would take with Devontae Adams this week against the Chargers. If you want every bet that I make every day, regardless of sport, what type of bet it is, the odds, just hit the link tree in TikTok or DM me on Instagram, ButtFumble Sports. I give away my picks for free. They're never behind a paywall. I never charge for them because I think that's stupid and ridiculous. There are people on social media who charge for their picks. I really hope that they're worth it. I'm just a sports fan. I love talking sports. I love researching sports, data, player stats, all of that. My work has been as a producer in sports media at Fox Sports, CBS Sports, for Jim Rome. I worked at ESPN, and that's why I created this channel, because I love talking sports with sports fans just like you. I give away my picks for free. You know I give away my advice for free. So if you want it, either hit the link tree in my bio on TikTok or DM me on Instagram, ButtFumble Sports. That's how we do things. Let's get back to your fantasy questions. Drizzy, what's good? Start 2, Jacobs, Connor, or Stephon Diggs. I'm going to lean slightly towards Jacobs and Connor for the moment. I think Diggs could have a touchdown in his first week with the Texans, but overall, so many mouths to feed that I'm almost over-reliant on the touchdown. That's why I'm a little cautious there. I think James Conner and Jacobs, you know how much production they're getting. That said, I don't love Jacobs' matchup tonight. Funny enough, I think Jacobs going to be more valuable in the passing game than the running game at times. Tough run defense for the Eagles, but I'll take the two running backs in week 1. Blue Jay, Pitts or Njoku? It's a great question. What's Pitts' health status? If Pitts is a full go, I still would go Njoku, believe it or not. I'd say Njoku. I think Njoku is the better play. Pitts' pre-game status, irregardless, I like Njoku more. Diego, Brian Robinson, Keon Coleman, Christian Kirk. It's Christian Kirk for me in the week 1 play. Toby, Dobbs, or Deontay Johnson. I'll go Dobbs, just barely. Don't feel great about it, though. For my other league, says Lucas, you like Devontae tonight? Yes, I do. Eric Anderson, is it too early to drop Andrews for likely? Yes, way too early. If you're going to move on from him, trade him. Don't just drop him. Get some return value there. Diego Gonzalez, Deontay Johnson, JSN, or Palmer. I will go Deontay Johnson for that one. Appreciate the questions. If you do want to join the show as a guest, feel free to do so on TikTok. We'll start doing that, let's say when we hit 10,000 likes, and we'll also give out our pick for tonight's game at 10,000 likes. So 2 reasons to tap the screen over on TikTok. If you're watching on Instagram, if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, hit the like button as well. We really appreciate you guys supporting the show. Yo boy Alex for Flex, Deontay Johnson or Gus Edwards? Great question. There's a part of me that really wants to go with Gus Edwards on this. I actually think there's a little bit more upside there. Don't love Deontay matchup, and you guys know I like the running back position a little bit more. Diego, thanks so much for following. Appreciate the support. Appreciate everyone who's a part of this amazing community of sports fans. CJ Miller, rate the 12-man. Lamar, you know I love that. K9 Saquon, love the 2 running backs. Jefferson and Godwin, okay. Edwards, Ramondre, overall, I think it's a B+. You really are kind of a little top-heavy with Lamar and the running backs. But overall, I think it's a solid team. I don't know if it's going to win you a championship because as the season goes along, I think this team gets weaker. Jaden to Real. I have Richardson in both of my leagues. Should I start Love in one of them? I would. I actually think Love could have a very good game against this Eagles secondary tonight. Again, I think Jacobs could have a better game in the passing game than the running game. If you're relying on him in the running game, I'm not crazy about Jacobs against the Eagles' run defense, and that's what I actually think means it kind of contributes to Jordan Love having a really big game is Eagles' run defense, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. I think they stop the run up the middle. I think it's going to be screen passes with Josh Jacobs, passes down the field by Love. I think that's how you're going to get offense, and I do think there will be some offense. I'll give out my picks for this game at 10,000 likes on TikTok. Appreciate you guys tapping the screen. Cody, at Flex, start Swift, Jaden Reed, or Brock Bowers. I'm going to go Swift on that one. Larkus, who do you think will get more action this year, Kupp or Puka? I actually think it's going to be Cooper Kupp, believe it or not. I think Puka will regress a little bit compared to what he did last year. Trevor, Brian Thomas Jr., I'm very, very high on him season long. Week 1, I'm not quite sure what his production is going to be. To me, it's kind of similar to what we saw with Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy was actually not involved in the Chiefs' offense as much as we may remember because 2 of those plays were touchdowns. If Brian Thomas gets involved in a touchdown, immediately you're going to say it's worth it. But I don't love the risk on the rookies early because you don't quite know what kind of production you're going to get. I think he's a good play. I think he's going to be a great play in future weeks. Money Branch, rate the team, Stroud, Hill, Marvin Harrison Jr., Etienne, Ramondre Stevenson, Kupp, and Kittle. I actually like this team. I'm not crazy about the Ramondre Stevenson part. That's where you lose me a little bit. Other than that, really strong team. B+, but the running back position, you might be lacking depth there. Neighbors or Montgomery. Super Pants, I'm going to go Neighbors. I'm going to take a bit of a risk here. A lot of mouths to feed in the Lions offense. I know Montgomery will probably get a touchdown, but I kind of like Neighbors breaking out in week 1, and I don't mean that compared to other rookie receivers. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. and Neighbors are in a different category. If you want to play it safe, David Montgomery, because he'll probably get a touchdown. He's probably good for that vulture touchdown per game. But that said, I kind of like Neighbors getting more points. Austin, bad to have Hill and Waddle. Not this week, but season long, yes it is. Travis Durham, Achan, or Devontae Smith in the flex. Man, that's really close. I'll go Achan just barely, just because RB1. It's close though, because I think Smith could have a really good game. Jacob, should I risk keeping CMC starting? I think you're going to be watching it all Sunday. I think he will play, but even if he's limited, is it worth it to you? That's the question. This is the season of CMC regression. Nico, Neighbors or Ayuk? I'd go Neighbors. Whose money line you got tonight? Danny, I'm going to give out my pick when we hit 10,000 likes on TikTok. We're 4,000 likes away. So if you're watching on TikTok and you want to know who I like for today's game, you can either go to SHARPZ. You can find that on my Linktree link in my bio. Or you tap the screen, get us up to 10,000 likes. I'll give out my pick for today's game. Antcan, is Debo a good start against the Jets defense? Maybe in a flex, but I'm really not crazy about him. Christian Vasquez, cool that we have the MLB catcher on the line. Thoughts on Zamir White? I think he's got decent value this week. Season long, I'm questionable about him, but this week, and I think he's a good flex play. I think this week he could live up to an RB2 level, but season long, I think he's more of a flex. Yo boy Alex, who is an overrated player that people hype up in fantasy for you? Who's an overrated player that people hype up in fantasy? It's a good question. I'm trying to think because I'm trying to... Who's a good overrated player in fantasy? Because there are players I think are going to regress, but I'm trying to think of like, here, in the comment section, write some candidates. Who do you think's an overrated player in fantasy? We just got a really good question here on the chat, and I'm kind of curious what you guys think. Who do you think is an overrated player in fantasy? Write your comment in the comment section. Trey Wimp says Derrick Henry, kind of an interesting one. Mahomes, that's an interesting one. Okay, who do you guys think is an overrated player in fantasy? Travis Kelce, says Lucas. Okay, some of the stars, it feels like some of those stars of the past. Derrick Henry did look old. Rashad White, I think he's going to regress. Travis Kelce. Who do you guys think is a player who is overrated in fantasy? Rashad White, Travis Kelce. Okay, a lot of people. Kittle, Deebo Samuel. I kind of like the Kittle and Deebo Samuel. Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's coming up a lot. Pittman, says Trey Wimp. Okay, interesting. Zamir White, says Ryan. Interesting takes. Interesting takes from everybody. Terry McLaurin, Pittman. Okay. Interesting takes from people. Some good names. Let's get back to some of the fantasy questions. Again, I'm going to give out my pick for tonight's game at 10,000 likes. Diggs, says Danny. That's actually a good one. Diggs is a good one, Danny. I'm going to give out my picks for tonight's game at 10,000 likes on TikTok. So tap the screen, TikTok viewers. Jared Ford, do I play Chase if he plays or go with Coleman? I'd go with Chase, and I actually think there's even more reason to go with Chase. T. Higgins is questionable, so even more reason to consider him. Is Gabe Davis worth keeping on the bench? Cody, for week 1, sure, because you're not quite sure how he's going to play out, so he might have value, and you don't want to give up on him too quick. Noob DK, since Higgins might not play, should I play Keon Coleman or pick up Palmer or Demario Douglas? I would consider Coleman. Palmer might be a sneaky good play, but I actually like Coleman a little bit more, I think. Antcan 111, everyone on the Niners except McCaffrey because that stacked offense. Antcan 111, I love the take. New Jersey memes. New Jersey memes. Mostert or Dell? Great question. I'll say Mostert because I think he could get a touchdown, but it's a coin flip. I don't know who's going to get opportunities in that offense in Houston quite yet. We're closing in 2,000 likes away from me giving out a pick. We'll also take callers at 2,000 likes. So if you want to call the show, tap the screen. Lane Johnson, Burrow or Baker? Great question. I'll lean just slightly towards Baker. Part of that actually goes towards Burrow, the injury, how's he going to perform, but additionally, maybe not having T. Higgins, Jamar Chase not being around for the preseason. I think there may be some growing pains for the Bengals just a little bit. Lucas Rathwell, Richardson or Tua? As much as I want to say Richardson, I really want to say Richardson because he's going to get the rushing opportunities. I'll say Richardson. I just assume he's going to get rushing yards that Tua won't. I think Tua could have a big day through the air, but the rushing yards are going to go to Achane and Mostert. So I'll say Richardson, but Lucas, I'm on the fence. It's a tough one. I'll say Richardson barely because rushing points are so valuable. Danny Cashley, Gibbs or Zeke week 1? Oh my goodness, Jahmyr Gibbs. 1,000 taps away from giving out our pick for tonight's game. Mostert or Brian Robinson Jr.? I'll lean just slightly towards Mostert. Gridiron, Ferguson, Goddard, Schultz. I'll go Ferguson, Gridiron. I know it's a tough matchup, but I think it's still the best one. Nuve DK, how do you think Gus Edwards will do week 1 against the Raiders? I think it's a really tough front that he's running against. That said, I think he's going to get a majority of the carries, so I think there is some value there. Sonny Dweck, Dowdle, Leggett, Demario Douglas week 1 instead of Higgins. I don't think you have a good option there. Demario Douglas is probably the best one, and even that I'm not crazy about. People are trying to sell me on Dowdle, but I don't know. I'm not high on him. Should I start Brian Thomas or Pittman? Love the content. Thanks so much. I'd go Pittman just barely. Sean, Metcalf against Surtain or Montgomery in the flex. I'll lean towards Montgomery because I agree with you. The Surtain matchup has me a little worried. What you're banking on is either one to get a touchdown. Ironically, I think Montgomery might actually be the better touchdown play. Lucas, Dell, or Ayuk. I'll lean towards Ayuk even though I hate the matchup against Sauce Gardner. Diego, Kirk or Najee, Christian Kirk. Brian Conley, pick 2. Pittman, Connor, DK. I'll go Connor and Pittman, though it's very close. User 1372, Lamb and Taylor for Chase, Achan, and Neighbors. I wouldn't do that deal. I'd rather have Lamb and Taylor. Appreciate the love all you guys are showing me. Make sure you guys are hitting that follow button. We have hit 10,000 likes, so I'm going to give out a pick for tonight's show, or for tonight's game, rather. Hey, regardless of the sport, regardless of the type of bet, I give away my picks for free every day. Either DM me on Instagram, ButtFumbleSports, DM me on Instagram to get every bet, or there's a link in my bio on TikTok that takes you to my link tree. You can go there. There are also a bunch of promos, so if you want to bet on a sports book that you haven't before, DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Underdog, use their money to bet. Don't bet your own. There are a bunch of promo codes. Do that. So DM me on Instagram or check out the link on Linktree. The picks that I have for tonight, here it is. I like the Eagles on the money line, and I'll go one step farther. This game is now Eagles minus 1.5. The line movement on this has been really interesting. It opened at Eagles minus 3. It's now Eagles minus 1.5. I'll take the Eagles at the minus 1.5. I liked it at Eagles minus 2.5. I like the Eagles at minus 1.5 as well. So if you're looking for the safe play, I like them on the money line, but I'll take the minus 1.5 as well. I think the Eagles win. I actually think they're the better team right now. Will they be the better team in January? No. I think the Packers will actually go farther this season, but there's some question marks on the offensive line. I talked about this in yesterday's show. I'm about offensive line. That's where the game is won. When we talk about fantasy, which players are playing on teams with good offensive lines? When you make bets, offensive line is so important. The defensive line of the Eagles is loaded. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. I'm going to talk about those two guys so often this year because they are monsters. They are monsters. Jerome Brown, Reggie White, monsters. And the combination of those two against an inexperienced offensive line of the Packers will cause problems. I'll take the Eagles on the money line. I'll take the Eagles minus 1.5. I do like the over in this game at an alternative total. I don't like it where it's at right now. I'm nervous about it right now. If I was going to play a total side on this, I'll take the over, but I like the over. Why isn't this shifting here? I like the over at like a 45.5. That feels like a very safe play for me. So I'll take the over 45.5. And again, as I did last night, we hit a same game parlay. I took Chiefs money line. I took Chiefs money line and under 52.5. I also did take Ravens plus 6.5 and that same under. So that half a point difference, that was a little painful. A sign of why maybe I should have pushed it to over the 7.5. But oh well, we hit 2 of our 3 NFL picks for last night. So if I were to do another same game parlay, it would be Eagles on the money line and over 45.5. That is an alternative line, but that is what I would be taking tonight. In addition, Eagles money line and Eagles minus 1.5. Let's get to some of your caller questions. I know a bunch of you guys have been waiting patiently, so we're going to get to your caller questions now. Garrett Irvin, first caller question of the day. Garrett, what's good?
Hey, man, what an amazing way to start off the football season last night.
Did it not give you the biggest sports boner of your life? Like the script writers of the NFL got it so perfect that it was the last drive, the last play, the last inch of field define the game. It was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, my main question is, and I'm sure you've probably heard it already once or twice, but is it too early to panic about Mark Andrews, and what do we do with Isaiah Likely if he's on our waiver list?
Okay, so I'm gonna do the thing people hate others doing, but I'm gonna both admit I was right about something while answering your question, because I told you guys Mark Andrews, a lot of mouths to feed. I had concerns. Here's the thing: So if you kind of treat it like a Price is Right game, where you're trying to figure out what 5 games he's going to be a boom and what 5 games he's going to be a bust, and then mix in the others where he's kind of average, you got one of those bust games out of the way. That's as long as he stays healthy, by the way. So either I would trade him today, but you're trading him at his lowest value, but do you really have a backup you can move on to? Or I would go, okay, ride it out another week. I'm sure he will bounce back. I wouldn't be surprised if next week against the Raiders he had a really good game, but I do think it's going to be a very boom or bust year for him. So if you don't want to be a part of that carousel, trade him now.
Okay, I understand. I believe I have David Njoku on my bench.
Yeah, I think you're gonna find more weeks than not. David Njoku's going to end up being a more consistent play than Mark Andrews. There are going to be certain weeks where Mark Andrews is a good play. There are going to be certain weeks where you go, damn, that dude disappeared, or Isaiah Likely feasted on what used to go to him.
Right. I just didn't like the matchup this week, with my Cowboys. I feel like the Cowboys are going to come out swinging this year. I know we're playing in Cleveland, but I don't think...
The Cowboys are going to come out swinging? Yeah? Okay.
Oh, absolutely. They're my boys. I've been a Cowboys fan forever, man.
See, this is the only thing I would warn, not just you, but everyone out there. When you do this, make sure you take off your fandom hat just enough, because you don't want to compromise. Because the Cowboys could still win this week, and David Njoku could still be a good play. It doesn't necessarily have to conflict.
Absolutely. Well, I guess that pretty much covers the basis of my question. I'll go hunting around for a tight end. Maybe, give Mark Andrews some love for a couple more weeks. We'll see what happens.
I won't make any jokes about you going to hunt for a tight end, but good luck on that and have a great weekend, Garrett.
All right. Hey, we'll see y'all later.
You always got to find the best way to turn someone's words against them right as they're about to leave a call. Emmett's going to be the next one up on the line. Let's see what Emmett wants to talk about. Spinning wheel of death for Emmett. Let's see if he's able to connect. Emmett, you might have a bad connection, so I don't know if we're going to be able to get to you. Hang up. Let's try again. We'll try again in a better spot. If you guys want to join the show as a caller, feel free. Love answering your questions. Up. I got to pause. Had to pause. Had to resume. Where'd my comments go? Okay, Trey Wimp. And Njoku, what's going on here? How do I get my comments back? There we go. Okay, if you guys want to call the show, feel free. Ryan, what do you think of Andrews after last night? We just answered that. I think that he still has some value, but I think there's going to be weeks in which, frankly, you're going to be better off going with someone else. And I think you got to find the middle ground right now. I think there are going to be times where, again, he's facing a top defense. Go to someone else. Have someone on the bench. So if you can, go pick up someone else. I was kind of advising people at the beginning of the year, get someone like a Brock Bowers and play the two of them in tandem, depending on the matchups each week. I felt like that was a good duo to go with. Jordy, thoughts on Travis Kelce? Don't be overly concerned about last night for Travis Kelce. I think the Ravens are much like the Patriots, are much like elite defenses of the past, or really smart defenses of the past. They want to take away your best weapon. I think the Ravens said, we're going to try and take away Kelce, and we're going to force Patrick Mahomes' Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice to beat us, and they did. I actually think what the Ravens really did is they tried to take away Pacheco and Kelce, and they said if the Chiefs wide receiver beat us, so be it. And that's what happened. So I think Kelce's going to bounce back. I'm not worried about it. In fact, I think Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice having really good games is a great thing for Kelce. More attention on the wide receivers will open up the field more for Travis Kelce in future weeks. I am very high on Travis Kelce moving forward. I'm not concerned about him at all. Jordy, Christian Kirk, or Zamir White? Tricky one for me. I'll lean just slightly, I think, towards Zamir White, just barely. Diego, trap game, don't drop Andrews. Like, I totally agree with you. Trey Wimp, Njoku, Johnson, or I'd go David Njoku. Limited, Hurts or Love. Really tough for me. I'll lean. This is a strange one. I'm going to lean towards Love, but I think the Eagles win. I think the Saquon production just may cost Hurts his value enough where I'll lean towards Love over Hurts because now I think they're going to be similar. I think Love's going to throw for more. I think Hurts, the question is, does Hurts get a rushing touchdown? If he does, he might still be more valuable, but it's close. Nico, Cooper, or Godwin? I'll lean towards Godwin, actually. Felix, Swift, or Ayuk? For the moment, I'd go DeAndre Swift. Cody, worried about Andrews? I was worried before the season. I feel the same now. EMC, is CMC playing? It sounds like he is, but yeah, I don't think you're going to get him at his best. Peanut butter sandwich, Ayuk or Metcalf? Man, both are facing good secondaries. In that case, I'll probably lean towards Ayuk I'm going to lean towards Metcalf just barely. At least he's been in camp. I'll say that. Let's go to Tristap. If you want to call the show, hit us up. Love taking callers. Tristap, what's good?
Yeah, what's up, man?
How can we help? What's that?
Okay, so basically this week, for the week, I was debating on which quarterback to start because I have Burrow and I have Anthony Richardson, and I was leaning towards Richardson because of the matchup,
yep.
But I just wasn't sure.
I'd go Richardson, the more because for me, the opportunity for rushing points, in addition of T. Higgins is questionable, Jamar Chase may be limited even if he plays, so I think the value is there on Richardson more than it is on Burrow.
All right, perfect. Thanks.
Appreciate you calling. If you guys want to join the show as a guest, fire away. We're answering fantasy football questions and making sure that you guys have everything you need to successfully navigate week one. This is an important week. You want to get off to a good start. Get your questions in if you want to be a caller. Feel free. Anthony, DJ Moore, or Brian Thomas? I'll go DJ Moore. Landon Wilson, 23. Great to see you. Need a flex? Smith, Debo, Pittman. I like Smith. So do I. I agree with you. Danny, Reed, or Addison? Interesting one. I think it's probably Reed, but Addison might be a sneaky good play. I think I wasn't sure about his health status. I saw earlier today he's going to be a good go, so it's close. I'll lean towards Reed just barely. EMC, Kupp or McLaurin, tricky one for me. I'll lean slightly towards McLaurin, but I feel like both are going to have very good weeks. Would you bench Debo for Keenan Allen, Eckler, or Gus? Probably not. I don't think there's anyone in there I would play over him. David, need an emergency plan if Jamar doesn't play. He's going to play. He's going to play. Don't worry about it. It would be Kirk if he doesn't. Jake, Shakir, or JSN? Jake Jeans, I'd go Shakir. If you have a fantasy football question or a sports betting question, we're here to help you out. Christian Vasquez, Kyler finishes top 5 in quarterbacks. Very possible, actually. Capped for life, 14-team PPR. Stroud, Jacobs, Achan, McBride, Rice. Need 2 out of 4. Sutton, Shakir, Singletary, or Coleman. I'll go Shakir and I'll go Singletary. Shakir and Singletary would be the 2 for me, Cap for life. Eric Anderson, do you like Chuba Hubbard? How do you think Chuba Hubbard will do against the Saints? I'm not really banking on the Panthers offense being much. He could produce maybe 50 yards, maybe he gets up to 70. I think you're just hoping he gets a touchdown, and I'm not holding my breath. E and B, what do you think of Jaden Reed over 41.5 receiving yards? I like it, but I would rather take it at like 35.5. I really do think it's going to be close to that 45 mark. User 0964, Brady or Breeze? All time? I mean, funny enough, I think Breeze was probably the better fantasy own, but we all know Brady's the GOAT. Nate, Swift or Kirk? I'll go Swift. B-Rob or Shakir? Taylor K, I'll go Shakir. Brennan Fahey, T is out, so Ladd, Thomas, Warren, or Shakir. I'd go Shakir. Anthony, NYJ, Waddle or Higgins? Well, Higgins sounds like he's going to be out. I'd go Waddle. Anyways. Purple Apples, trade Mike Evans and Zamir for Bijan as soon as humanly possible. Make that trade. Nuv DK, trade Higgins and Andrews for Waddle and Ingram. 100% do it. Do it now. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Appreciate the questions. If you want to be a caller, hit us up. Love taking the calls. So if you want to join the show as a guest, feel free to do so over on TikTok. Anthony, Brian Robinson, or Chuba Hubbard. I'll say Chuba Hubbard just because I believe he's RB1, where Robinson's splitting touches with Austin Eckler. John, pick one. Stevenson, Njoku, Brown, or McConkey. Part of me really wants to say Brown. I think Brown is actually where I would go. Christian Vasquez, trade Puka for MHJ. I would actually, believe it or not. I think it's a fair trade. We got some callers on the line. Pablito! Let's see what Pablito wants to talk about. Pablito, ¿qué pasa?
How you doing?
What's happening?
Hey, just excited for Sunday. I'm going to be in Chicago watching Caleb Williams take on the Titans.
Wow, awesome, man. Where are your seats?
I didn't book them. My fiance did, so I'm not quite sure which he...
Okay, this is the most important part of this phone call. Is she going with you? Did she get the tickets for you?
She did.
You got a good woman, man. You got a good woman. I'm glad that you're saying she's a fiance and not a girlfriend, because you got to lock that up while you can.
Thanks, man. I do got a couple fantasy questions for you.
Fire away.
I have wide receivers here: Marvin Harrison Jr., Dell, and Waddle.
I'm not crazy about Dell this week. I don't know how things are going to play out with him, given how many mouths there are to feed in that Houston offense. I kind of want to watch a week to see how it shakes out, so he would be the odd man out of that group.
Okay. Running backs, I'm loaded here with Kamara, Josh Jacobs, Kyron Williams, and Gibbs.
Gibbs, yes. Kyron Williams, yes. And then I would start Kamara in the flex, and Jacobs would be a sit. I think Jacobs could have a good game tonight. I don't think he's going to have a great game. Tough run defense for the Eagles because of that defensive front. I think he could have a better game in the passing game. I don't think he has no value, but you are loaded at that position, so he'd be the odd man out. And I like Kamara more than that other wide receiver that we talked about a moment ago.
Okay. One more. I got QBs here. I'm obviously going to start CJ Stroud, but I'm debating on Mayfield and Tua. I'm not quite sure. I thought Mayfield would just have a better day.
I think I like Tua a little bit more. A little bit more. It's really close, but I think I like Tua more.
Okay. Okay, sounds good.
Pablito, I have a request for you.
Yep.
This Sunday when you go to the game, I want you to... Do you have Instagram?
Yeah.
I want you to take a picture of that field on kickoff Sunday. I want you to take a photo of it. I want you to post it. I want you to tag me or do whatever the Instagram thing is because I want to be able to see it, okay?
All right, sounds good, man. Appreciate
Awesome.
it.
Enjoy the game.
Thanks.
So cool people are going this week. I'm excited for them. All right, let's check out who's our next caller. Our next caller is going to be Spencer. What's up, Spencer?
Hey, how you doing, boss?
Oh, loving life. How can we help you?
Hey, so how do you like Goff this weekend against the Rams?
I love Goff this week. I think he's going to have a massive game. I've been talking about him for the last few weeks because I've been saying to everyone he is a sneaky good own in fantasy. Only 3 outdoor games all season long. If you look at his career stats, inside a dome, he is an elite quarterback. Yes, Jared Goff is an elite quarterback inside a dome. He's going to have that circumstance Sunday night. He's going up against a Rams defense that I think is going to be better than people think, but still is going to have to overcome the loss of Aaron Donald to retirement. That may take a couple weeks. I think that the Lions get out to a very good start, a lot of points. I'm very high on Jared Goff.
And do you know of any updates to Jamar Chase? He's been downgraded to questionable.
So I think Jamar Chase is listed as questionable because Jamar Chase is telling you he's questionable, and he's telling the Bengals he's questionable. So I think he's going to play. I think the more concerning news for fantasy owners or for sports bettors or for football fans is that T. Higgins is now, I believe, doubtful, questionable to doubtful. So that's the big story. I actually think That is great leverage for Jamar Chase. I think that helps him get on the field that much more.
Okay, because he was my first-round pick, and now I'm a little concerned. So,
I'd be concerned anyway, but I think he's going to play. I don't think he's going to have a first-round pick, wide receiver one kind of day unless his production all comes in the red zone. He's going up against a good secondary, and yeah, he hasn't been on the field for the last few weeks. So there's reason for me to be concerned about him this week, but season long, I think you're going to get most of what you expect from him.
Okay, and Bijan, how do you like him this weekend?
Well, I think the Steelers' defense is really good, and if you told me Bijan had a bust week and everyone freaked out, it wouldn't shock me. I still think he's going to have a good week, in part because I think they're gonna show off his versatility. They're going to show him off in the run and the pass game, and I think there were times last year where, frankly, he was like in fantasy jail for unknown reasons. So I like his usage. I don't think he's going to have a big game. I think he's going to have a game that gets you optimistic about what he could be in future weeks. But I don't want to overlook the fact that the Steelers, especially with the addition of Patrick Queen, that's a really good defense. That's a really good defense.
Bijan was my second-round pick, so I'm a little...
The fact that you got Chase and Bijan, I feel really good about your team. Is this an 8-man league?
It's a 10-man league.
Wow. Okay. I'm really surprised by that. I feel like you're in a pretty good spot.
I was too.
Yeah.
First pick in my league was Josh Allen. So.
Oh, okay. So we're playing with people who could drown in a bowl of soup. I got it. I understand.
Yeah,
okay. Okay. I understand. Good luck. I feel like you have a bot. You are like the Patriots of the 2000s, in which like you're gonna make the playoffs. It's just a question of whether you're gonna win a championship or not. So good luck going through the AFC East, where you're going up against the Jets with Chad Pennington without an elbow and all that. So yeah, good luck.
I've got the Niners defense this week, so we'll see what happens with.
Yeah, I'm not actually crazy about the Niners defense. I think the Jets could have a pretty good game. I think the Jets want to show some. I think the Jets are looking to make a statement. I think last year was so disappointing in week one. I know Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a great history of going out to the Bay and performing well, but I actually think there's some reason to believe that the Jets, one, impress and cover and potentially win, but two, that the offense actually has a decent game.
Right. All right, man. I appreciate it.
All right, Spencer, you have a great night.
You too.
All right, we're going to go to one of my favorite viewers, super loyal, Jennifer. Oh, Jennifer, you dropped off, right, as I thought Jennifer was going to join the show. Let's go to Austin. Austin's going to be next on the line. Austin, what's good?
What up, my dude?
How's life?
Last night didn't go the way I wanted it to.
Why? What went wrong?
We lost by a damn toe.
Well, some of us won by a damn toe, so you're talking to other sides. Like, I told people what I was betting. I'm not going to feel bad for people who didn't tail.
No, I know. But what really surprised me is...
If you had tailed, you wouldn't have lost by a toe. And that's no nursery rhyme for you. I'm just saying.
Open pass in the end zone either, then it is what it is.
Yeah. Catch a raven by the toe.
Yeah, it is. But, dude, really quick, I just wanted to say likely went nuclear.
Likely went nuclear, but on, like, one specific play. And he had some good plays before that. Everything he did prior to the touchdown is exactly what I expected, which is like, okay, he's a good, like, outlet option. Mark Andrews is still going to be the dominant player in the scene. Likely he's going to be the guy who leaks out and gets those like 8-yard gains. Maybe it's a 12-yarder depending on how the secondary is like playing up or back. But that one play, that's where like I feel like there's some narrative that takes over and you miss out on context. And it's like Likely had a really good game, but at the same time they wanted to take away Andrews. They didn't target him enough, and he had one massive play. That's my take.
Yeah. Truthfully, you're not wrong. Just more so the fact that was not what I expected. I did not expect that. I expected him to have like maybe 20, 25 yards at most.
Well, let's put it this way. I probably expected that as well, like 3-4 catches, 25, maybe 30 yards. But again, how far off were we from that once we take away that one play?
See, theoretically really.
And by the way, in the last drive, that last drive where he was like the ultimate option for like he catches it out of bounds 5 seconds off the clock. So if I take away that drive and the touchdown, now obviously those are 2 drives in a game. Okay, that's pretty substantial. But at the same time, I'm not going to overreact and be like, so you think Isaiah Likely's a top 5 tight end in the NFL? No, he had a really great game. I think Mark Andrews is now due. I think the pendulum will swing towards Mark Andrews. If I were an Isaiah Likely owner, I would probably be looking to sell today. If I don't have a tight end, like in one of my leagues, I got shut out and I got Goddard accidentally. I made a bid. I reached out to the owner of Andrews to see if he make a trade today. So that's how you should be thinking about it.
Smart. I guess my one question that I'm going to have is obviously the Eagles play tonight. I'm in like 6 different leagues, but like I have AJ Brown, I have Devontae Smith, I have Saquon. As a whole team, how are we thinking? You know, is it going to be a blowout? I think it's actually going to be a pretty close game, truthfully.
I think it's going to be a pretty close game as well. I think so. I have 2 schools of thoughts on this. On one level, I do think defenses have a bit of an edge in the early week, like the first week of the season, because offenses need to click in ways that later on offenses have the advantage, because once they do know, like once they are on the same page, when I know where I'm going and you don't, I should win. First week, I don't necessarily know where I'm going and the quarterback may not, so that may take some time to catch up. So I think it's going to be a close game, but I could see it at times being a grind. Here's the thing I'm hoping for, though. Throw out that comment. I'm hoping the NFL wants to sell the NFL in Brazil. What do I hope that means? Offense. I really hope that means that the referees and that Goodell go, you know what we don't want tonight? A bad product. I actually think the one thing I have that is hopeful for the over for fantasy owners of multiple players is I do think the NFL wants points. And if they want points, it has to go to somebody, and this game has a lot of stars. So I think there's a good way to own. I think Saquon's going to get a touchdown. I think that Reed's going to get a touchdown. If there was one like sneaky player tonight who I was like, if I just had to like totally gamble on them randomly, it's Luke Musgrave. Luke Musgrave's the dude that like people are going to forget about, who could totally emerge this year in his second year and turn into a stud. So, by the way, what's your take on the game? What do you think is going to happen?
Dude, I think they're going to be run heavy. The Eagles, when I say the game itself, I think the Eagles are going to be super run heavy. Mainly because I think they're going to push Barkley to see exactly, they know what he's made of, but I understand they want to see what he's going to do on this O-line, with the new O-line too. Legitimately having probably one of the best O-lines in the NFL.
Yep.
Arguably, but I also think they're going to the Eagles themselves are going to utilize Devontae Smith a little bit more than AJ Brown, because he's going to probably be being covered the most.
I also think this is going to be welcome to play action central. To your point, it's going to be, we're going to feed Barkley, we're going to build you into, suck you that defense in, and then it's play action. And I know AJ Brown is a phenomenal deep ball receiver. And by the way, he's a phenomenal receiver no matter the route. But I actually like, to your point, Devontae Smith in some of that little sharp quickness on a play action. I'm with you. I think Smith has the better game, and I do think it's a lot of run, but it's like when they hit the pass, oh damn, like that play action's devastating. Kind of like what you saw last night on those Rashee Rice plays, where he's coming across the middle.
The middle was insane. That one in the middle was insane.
I think Devontae Smith could have similar moments tonight where it's like you get drawn in just enough, the linebackers come in just enough. Who's beating you, in a step behind you? It's Smith. That would be my guess.
100%. I would agree. And, I don't follow the Packers as much as I should, so on their end, I can't really speak on it. I can't really speak on how I think they're going to do, other than I'm very, very excited to watch Jordan Love and to see how he does in his sophomore year.
Here's the comment I mentioned earlier, and I am taking the Eagles for those that are asking about it. I'm going to take the Eagles -1.5 as well. And to me, it's about the offensive line. The Packers have some questions on the offensive line, and what's one of the strengths of the Eagles' defense? That defensive front. Those two I mean, they are massive human beings. They are boulders rolling downhill at you in Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. And I think the Packers will have trouble running in the middle. I think they may have success on the edge at times. But even there, I don't think it's going to be good enough. Too much of the stress is going to be put on Jordan Love. What do I think that means? Jordan Love's going to have a good game. He'll go over 250 yards. So for those who ask me right now, a few folks are asking me about player props. I like Jordan Love over 250 yards. Jaden Reed's going to have a good game. I could see Dobbs and Watson getting involved. Like I mentioned, don't be surprised if Luke Musgrave comes on as a surprise play, kind of like Isaiah Likely last night. But do I think Jacobs is going to have a big rushing game? I don't.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he went over there. Dude,
that's the story of the offseason for them.
Yeah, agreed. There was so much that happened in the offseason.
What's awesome is they made two major... What's funny about tonight's game, actually, is tonight is very much about the ghost of the Giants. You have Saquon Barkley on the Eagles, and you have Xavier McKinney, who was a star on the Giants for the last few years, who's now on the Packers. So you have two stars who used to be on the Giants who are now playing tonight. Should be a lot of fun.
I'm excited for it, dog.
Yo, I could not be... If you injected it into my veins, I would overdose. I am so excited. I'm so pumped. You have no idea.
Yep. All right, homie. I'm going to get off here so somebody else can get on. Always good talking to you, man.
Austin, I love it. You have a great night and a great weekend. We'll see you soon.
See you, brother.
Let's get to another one. Okay, Jennifer. Now's your time. One of my favorites. Let's see if Jennifer... Jennifer, what's good?
Hi, Wyatt. How are you?
Oh, I'm loving life. How you doing today? Great to have you on the show.
Thank you. So I was listening to what you were telling Spencer about starting Goff, and I wanted to ask you, because I actually have him on my bench. How do you feel about that? Because I have Hurts on right now and Goff benched. Who would you start?
Man, it's really tough. I'm going to lean towards Hurts because the rushing yards are just valuable enough. If I think they're going to have similar passing games, Jalen Hurts' opportunity to get one rushing touchdown is so great in value that I'm willing to take the chance. I'll lean towards Hurts. I don't feel great about it, but it's a bit of a coin flip with Hurts having the advantage.
Well, I think the reason why I'm kind of questioning Hurts is because I also have A.J. Brown as my wide receiver. So I'm not sure if I'm too heavy on my Eagles for...
I mean, yes, you are, but that's going to be an issue all season long. So it's not just this week. I'm going to leave my analysis of the quarterback in the vacuum that it's in, because I still think Jalen Hurts is I'd rather play him. But yeah, I do think this is one of the reasons. You know, I know how loyal a viewer you are, so you're going to hear a spiel or a rant that you've heard, I'm sure, before. But this is why I'm not crazy about stacking for season long, because you have these compromise issues. If it's a running back and a member of the passing game, I'm okay with it. But when it's quarterback and wide receiver, it better be that dynamic duo, and there's so many mouths to feed in Philly. Hard.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thank you. I'll take note of that. Thanks. Nice to finally speak with you.
Jennifer, you're one of my favorites. I hope you enjoy the show today.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Bye-bye. Let's go to Valerie. Let's see what Valerie wants to talk about. Another loyal viewer. Valerie, what's good?
Hi, how are you?
I'm loving life. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I don't think I spoke to you from last season, but I ended up winning my fantasy league last.
Let's go! Congratulations! So the champ is here, everybody. Bow down. The queen has arrived. Okay, so how are we going to do this year?
So I need help with my running backs right now. I have Swift, Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris, and Hubbard. I'm not sure which two to start.
Yeah, we do. Okay. Give them to me one more time.
Swift, Taylor.
Yeah, it's
Harris.
Swift and Taylor. It's Swift and Taylor
Okay. I have them.
by a very wide margin. Yes.
Gotcha.
See, you knew the answer.
Yeah, I just needed that extra reassurance.
That's what I'm here for. I'm just that little bit of push that allows the butt fumble to occur.
Gotcha. And then so for my wide receivers, I'm starting Harrison and Pittman.
Okay.
Over Terry McLaurin, Jacoby Myers, and Sutton.
No. Okay.
No.
I would take I would take Pittman out and I would put McLaurin in. You're a little overloaded on the Colts offense by having Taylor and Pittman. It's okay. We'll talk about the flex position in a moment, but I like McLaurin more right now in that wide receiver spot. I love Harrison Jr., by the way. That's a good start.
Now, my thing is I have Higgins in my flex.
Yeah, so it sounds like he's not going to be playing. So hit me with the options again.
Well, now, since I'm moving McLaurin up, I have Pittman, Jacoby Myers, and Sutton. Or, if I want to play one of the running backs.
No, I'd go Pittman just barely over Sutton. It's close, but I don't want to play the wide receiver who's going with a rookie in the first week. So Sutton might be a really good play this year. He might turn into a steal over the course of the season. But for this week, I'll go Pittman in the flex.
Okay, sounds good.
We
Alrighty,
good to go?
I'll get back to you on. You'll be live Sunday, right?
You know we are. We're live every Sunday morning starting at 10 a.m. at the latest.
Sounds good. Alrighty. Thank you so much for your help.
Have a great week. Or weekend, I should say. We're finally to the weekend, everybody. Let's go to Provi. Provi's going to be next on the line. Let's see what Provi wants to talk about. Provi, what's good?
What's up, man?
How you living?
I'm good.
Oh, you got to stay on TikTok. If you guys come on as a guest, you got to stay on TikTok or you mute yourself. I can't hear you. So, Provi, go again.
Sorry, I tried to go on fantasy. So I had a question about who should I start in my flex.
Sure.
So right now I have Stephon Diggs. I don't know if that's a smart move because I've gotten a lot of opinions saying that they think it's going to be hard this year with what's his name?
There are just a lot. There are a lot of mouths to feed in that Texans offense, and he could get lost at times in that offense. Yeah.
Yeah, and then as a card collector, I know a lot of people are into Christian Watson this year. So I also have him on the bench. Do you think that's a smart move to start him over Stephon Diggs?
No, I don't think so. And I don't want to say smart or not because it's not a question of intelligence. It's a question of likelihood of return on investment. And I say this because if you're talking about cards, it means you understand investing and what you're trying to get out of an asset, okay? So Watson, he could have a good game. Very possible. However, the likelihood of it compared to Diggs is a little less. Couple reasons for that. Diggs is like the new weapon that they just acquired, and I think that Stroud and the Texans may over-target him in week 1 to try to get him involved. I think they will over-target him in the red zone to try to get him a touchdown, just to welcome to the team, get off on good vibes. He's also a bit of a diva, so I wouldn't be surprised. This is more narrative than it is statistical, but I also know Diggs, for the moment, I think comes in as the wide receiver 1 on the depth chart ahead of Nico Collins. I can't say the same about Christian Watson. The depth chart of the Packers is really strange. It's hard to determine who's kind of the clear-cut guy. So I'll lean slightly away from Watson, at least for now. Season long, I think Watson does have some value because I think the Packers offense is going to take a major step forward. Sports Talk 2217 over on Instagram believes you should start Watson. So this is definitely a coin flip, a difference of opinion, but I wouldn't go with Watson on this one.
Yeah, I feel like I like this. I like CJ Stroud this year. I think he's going to have a good sophomore season. Definitely coming off of last year, he was really good for his rookie class,
And again, to me, I'm almost leaning into the fact that Diggs has a good week 1, but I understand Watson's going to be a good play. This is a bit of a coin flip for me. I'll lean towards Diggs, but I honestly, you could talk me into either side. I'm sorry I'm not giving you a good definitive answer, but sometimes you come across a question in which it really is like apple or oranges, and it's like, well, I like both. you know who says there's bad fruit?
Yeah. So yeah, I had Stephon Diggs starting in the first place. That's who I have right now. So I just wanted to then I have another question if there's time about quarterback. So I have right now in the starting position I have Tua, and then on my bench my backup is going to be Trevor Lawrence. Who do you think I should?
Who would I start this week? Sorry, you paused on me, Provi. I lost you. What'd you say?
So who would I start this week for week 1?
I'm going to say Tua, and I understand It's a tricky one for me, but it's more because I believe the Dolphins are going to win. The tricky part for me is if Achan has a really big game, that could eat into some of the value. But I go Tua in part because I think they get off to a big week. And what I love about Tua, he could throw a screen pass to Tyreek Hill on the first play of the game. It could go 75 yards, and all of a sudden, boom! Like you're starting to cook with Tua very easily. I think Trevor Lawrence, it's harder to get that high value from him, so I'll go Tua just barely.
Yeah, that's who I had in the starting position as well. And I also have Devon Achane as my running back one. Do you think that's smart going with both of them in week one?
So I'm okay stacking a running back and a member of the receiving game, especially a quarterback. I'm okay with that because what you're really telling me is you're just invested in the Dolphins offense, and I'm good with that. I don't think the Jaguars defense is so good that it scares me. I like the Dolphins in week one. I like that investment. I do think season long it may be compromised at times when they face the Jets, for example. That could be a week in which the Dolphins don't perform well, and Tua and Achan are both kind of, below their expected production levels. That's where you're going to be compromised. But for this week, I think you're okay.
All right, cool. And then one last thing. I was listening from earlier, and I was just interested in knowing your locks for tonight's game. What do you think's going to happen?
So a couple of things. First thing, just as a disclaimer to everybody, I am anti-lock. I don't believe there's any such thing as a lock because I think even the sports gods recognize when we overbelieve something. Maybe I'm scarred because I actually was at the Patriots-Giants 07 Super Bowl as a kid, and I saw the undefeated Patriots lose, and I thought that was impossible. It happened in front of me. I'll never believe something's a lock. My pick for tonight's game, though, I do like the Eagles on the money line. I think the Eagles win. I think the Eagles are going to win by more than 1.5. So if you are a sports bettor, Provi, you sound a little young, so maybe you're not. But for the sports bettors that are watching, I like the Eagles minus 1.5 tonight. I also like over 45.5 points. I'm not crazy about where the point total is right now. It has me a little nervous. I think it probably gets to 50 points, but I'm going to play it really cautious. I'll take over 45.5. I think Saquon Barkley does score a touchdown in this game. That's a player prop bet that I really like. I love Jordan Love, over 250 passing yards. So a player prop bet, Eagles, Packers over 45.5 points, and Jordan Love over 250 passing yards as a two-leg same-game parlay I'm very, very high on. If you guys want all of my bets for free, DM me on Instagram or hit the link in my bio that takes you to my link tree. I give away all of my picks for free every day.
All right, I appreciate that so much, man. Thank you again.
Provi, you have a great day.
You as well, thank you.
That said, if you are a sports bettor and you're new to a sports book or you want to give it a try, we have a bunch of sports books that are back in the show this year. BetMGM, DraftKings, FanDuel, Underdog. The link for promos is in my link tree. Again, link in my bio on TikTok. Use their money. They're doing a ton of promos to start the football season. Use their money to bet. Obviously, if you're going to sports bet, you're going to do it. Use their money on promos. So you want to try Underdog, you want to try BetMGM, hit the link in my bio. Linktree takes you there. You'll see the promos. We'll do it all season long, but that way you guys are using their money to bet. But in case you guys want my picks every day, you can find them on SHARPZ. Let's get to a caller. I clicked on the name. I gotta double check it. It's Skeefker? Skeefker? How do I pronounce that? I don't even know. What's good, man?
What's going on?
How you living?
Skeefker. Good, man. Good. So I got some questions for you.
Fire away.
The number one is with the Bills offense. Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, and Dalton Kincaid. Where are you at with that?
Who do I think's a really good play this week or season long?
Let's just do both.
Okay. Well, this week, I think they're playing an Arizona Cardinals defense that's got a lot of questions in it. Let me put it this way. I love Dalton Kincaid season long. I think he could finish as a top 3, top 4 tight end in fantasy. Super high on him. Could not be higher. You said Shakir. I think Shakir is a steal in the making. He's got a ton of speed. He is the only remaining wide receiver from the past with any chemistry with Josh Allen. To me, I think he's going to have a breakout year. Do I think he's going to be a lock-in wide receiver 1? Absolutely not. Do I think he's going to be a lock-in wide receiver 2? He has that kind of potential. He's between a wide receiver 2 and a flex. I'm leaning more towards wide receiver 2 because I believe in his upside.
You like him more than Keon Coleman?
Well, that's where I was getting. Early in the year, I'm questionable about Keon Coleman because I don't quite know what he's going to be yet. I was in love with this guy at Florida State. He is a dog. He's a beast. He makes really good catches. He's physical, strong hands. I wanted my football team to draft him. I'm super high on the guy, but he doesn't get natural break. He doesn't get separation easily, and I do think it may take a little bit of time for him to figure out NFL defenses in order to where does he sit? Where does he? I'm a little bit cautious. So I like him long term. I think I like him from weeks. Let me see Buffalo. Buffalo plays Arizona, Miami, Jacksonville the first 3 weeks of the season. He actually could get off to a decent start because of the opponents, but I really like him to hit his stride later in the year. I think he's going to be a good own, but I do think it may take a little bit of time.
Okay, another one. In my other fantasy league, I got Michael Pittman, Jaden Reed, or Romeo Dobbs, which I'm leaning towards Reed over Dobbs.
See, I'm leaning towards Reed over Dobbs as well. Give me the other. What's the other non-Packer again? Pittman?
Michael Pittman.
It's super close. It's super close for me. I think Reed and Pittman are kind of a toss-up. I actually think they'll probably create similar value. The only reason I kind of like Reed more is I think right now I'm building up the narrative, even in my own mind, of the Packers are going to have to throw the ball. I don't think they're going to be able to run easily against the Eagles' defensive front. Reed showed flashes last year of being a really special player in the slot. There's reason for me to believe he could do that tonight. I'll lean towards Reed just barely.
Okay. And then lastly, Brian Robinson Jr. and Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram. What do you think is going to be happening this week with them?
Brian Robinson Jr., Christian Kirk, and who's the third?
Their tight end, Evan Ingram.
I'm really high on Evan Ingram. Really high on him. Christian Kirk, I'm a little cautious. I think he could end up being odd man. I think he's going to regress. He broke through last year. Ridley did not. And I think Christian Kirk actually could maybe take a step back as Brian Thomas Jr., Gabe Davis. They start to emerge in the offense as new additions. But I'm very high on Evan Ingram because I actually think that's where Trevor Lawrence goes as his security blanket. I think Kirk can be that, but I think that'll go down, especially as defenses try to take him away more and more. And then Brian Robinson Jr., he is in a tough spot because Austin Eckler, I think Brian Robinson Jr., it's can he get you a touchdown? That's the whole game every week. It's if he gets me a touchdown, he's worth the start in a flex. But Austin Eckler is going to own between the 20s. Between the 20s, that's where I think Austin Eckler is going to get so much production that you're really banking on Brian Robinson Jr. getting touchdowns for you.
And then, sorry, one more thing. I got Kyle Pitts and Evan Ingram in almost all my fantasy leagues, and it's just
love it.
I'm really big on Pitts, but I don't know.
I'm really big on Pitts until the moment I'm not, and frankly, that happens every other day because Kyle Pitts is one of the most polarizing players in fantasy football and has been ever since he left the University of Florida. The guy from if there was a all talent Hall of Fame, Kyle Pitts would have been in there already. But when it comes to production and delivering results, the dude is so far short of where I want him to be. I think he has so much potential with Christian Kirk, but I actually like what you did, having two tight ends, different weeks. This week, Evan Ingram, because the Steelers are a good defense, and Kyle Pitts, already has a questionable injury. So, this is why I think it was worth it for you.
With Kirk Cousins at quarterback, though, you kind of like Kyle Pitts more, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I'm very high on him, but I'm high on him right until, something goes wrong. And it feels like there's always something. Kyle Pitts, give me one season where I don't hear your name for a not perfect, for a non-injury reason or a non, like, where did he disappeared? Like, he only was targeted once for 4 yards. Like, he needs to have a consistent season. He really needs it.
And then it's coming down to, I'm a big Steelers fan, right? But they're getting +3 right now against the Falcons. I'm having a tough time picking the Steelers, unfortunately. I feel like
so I'm going to give you some hope, and I'm actually I'm on the fence about it. I've probably bet this game on both sides, ironically, over the course of the last 2 months. I think the Falcons are probably still the better team to win. However, I think the news about Russell Wilson potentially not playing is like the best thing a Steelers fan could hear.
Yes.
I think Justin Fields, is amazing on fast turf. I thought this is why the Falcons were going to go after him in the first place. Instead of going after Kirk Cousins, I always thought Fields was going to end up with Atlanta because him on that turf gives me like flashbacks to a slightly different Michael Vick, obviously a right-handed thrower, but he was going to be so dynamic. Fields in the Steelers offense? Okay, kind of interesting, especially against a defense in the Falcons that has a lot of new players, where communication could be a little tricky. We haven't played together for a long time. So I like Atlanta to win, but I really want to see how the line moves because I want to take the Steelers at like +6.5, and I want this to move from where it is now, but the news about Russell Wilson, that may mean more people jump on the Falcons, and I think that the line movement is going to work in my favor. So I'll take the Falcons on the money line, but I'll take the Steelers to cover once I get a few more points in my favor. And by the way, I could buy those now. I'm just going to wait because I think the line's going to move in my favor anyways.
What's up with them wanting Russell Wilson over Justin Fields anyway? Like,
I think there's a couple reasons to it. One, I do think you value the experienced quarterback, the veteran more. That's one. And two, I do think there's a general consensus across the league where if I start the younger player and he fails or he starts to dip in production, if I pull him, I'm kind of screwed. Like, I can't, it's hard to like go back to him again. Veterans, you can do that. Younger players, if you start them first and you yank them, their confidence plummets. A veteran, they've been through that. So you could start them, then pull them, then start them again, and they understand the kind of the rotation of it. A younger player, once you break their confidence, you may never get them back. And that's why I think the Patriots, perfect example, Patriots are right to not start Drake May. You could have him come in as a backup, or you could have him come in when Jacoby Brissett doesn't. You could do that, but if you started him and he had any moment of weakness, you have to either ride it through or you're going to break him. And that's why I think they were leaning towards Russell Wilson.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, man. I really appreciate your help.
Appreciate you watching the show. Hope you're a follower, bud.
Yes, sir. Peace out.
See ya. All right, let's get to another caller. Let's go to Zerks Y. Zerks Y is the next one on the line. Let's see what they want to talk about. Zerks, what's good?
What's up?
How you living?
I'm alright, how are you?
I love the image that you have for your account compared to your voice. Because, like, that's why you're like, no, that shit don't match. What's good? How can we help you?
Alright, so, I have actually a defense question. So, I have two options here. Currently I have Minnesota defense against the Giants. You know, Daniel Jones is not the greatest, so I thought about that. Then I also have another option is Seattle against Denver. But like Bo Nix looked good in the preseason, so I was kind of nervous, you know. But
no, it's a good question. It's a really good question. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I'm sure the rankings and the projected points will go towards the Vikings, and so if you want to do that, I get it. But the Seahawks have a really good defensive roster. They're going up against a rookie quarterback in his first start on the road in Seattle and Seattle has a new head coach who's a defensive-minded guy. And there's just a lot of this that lends me to believe Seattle could be the better play. I also am kind of like, you know what wouldn't shock me? If the Giants had a better game than people think. If Devin Singletary had a decent game, if Malik Neighbors bowled out just enough, like, the Vikings aren't that good. Like, what's funny to me is, like, the Vikings defense lost Daniil Hunter. Sure, they added Stephon Gilmore, but the Vikings aren't that good. So part of me is kind of like, I kind of like the Seahawks. Again, it's a coin flip, but I'm leaning towards the Seahawks a little bit. But if I fail you on this, I apologize, because this is definitely like a feeling in the dark kind of one.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go with Seattle, honestly, thinking about it. I mean, like, Minnesota has Brian Flores, but, they don't really have much, like, firepower on the defense. So
I think that's exactly right. I think you're banking on Brian Flores, and you're banking on Brian Flores, and you're banking on Daniel Jones pooping his pants. The likelihood Daniel Jones poops his pants is very high. That's why the projected points for the Vikings is so high. So I get it, but not necessarily where I'd go.
Yeah, and then second question.
Yep.
What do you think about Jamar Chase, the whole Jamar Chase situation?
He's gonna play. He's gonna play. I would expect less from him. If I were an owner, I'd almost think that his value this week is like wide receiver 2 value rather than wide receiver 1 value.
Okay. So I have Keon Coleman on my bench in case he doesn't play, but
he's gonna play.
Yeah.
He's gonna play.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. Yeah.
Like, I'm almost at that point where I would take a bet that he's gonna play. I feel that confident where I would put my money on him playing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's it for me. I just had 2 questions.
All right, Xerxes. I hope you're a follower, bud.
Yeah, I am. Don't worry.
All right. I'll catch you later.
You too.
All right. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Make sure you hit the follow button. Toby, any player prop bets for tonight's games? Are you talking MLB or NFL? So for NFL, I do think Saquon Barkley gets a touchdown, and I love Jordan Love over 250 passing yards. I'm very, very high on that. So Saquon Barkley over half a touchdown, Jordan Love over 250 passing yards. As for player prop bets in baseball, what are some ones that I like? I think I like Willy Adames in the Rockies and Brewers game. I like Shohei Ohtani a lot in the Dodgers game. Shohei Ohtani. I like Yordan Alvarez in the Astros game. Those are a few of the hitters I like. Let's go to Felix Blood. Felix Blood, a loyal viewer of the show. Let's see what Felix is up to. Felix, what's good?
What's up, man?
How you living?
Good. Got a few questions here, man. So I picked up Kirk Cousins. I got man, I'm throwing up a brain fart here. I got Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray, and Golf. I'm gonna drop one of them. I want to keep 2, drop 1. I like Kyler Murray because of his running ability.
Right. I would drop Kirk Cousins. I know it sounds crazy, but I think Goff is actually going to be the better own this year.
Okay. So who do you think should play this weekend? Who would you start, Kyler or Goff?
It's very close. I'll lean towards Kyler just barely because, like you, I like his rushing yards opportunities, and I do think the Bills' defense is a little bit weaker than it has been in years past. So I'll lean towards Kyler just barely.
Okay, great. And how are we feeling about Xavier Worthy?
Well, I was high on him before. I thought he was going to be a really good wide receiver, and I actually thought the injury to Hollywood Brown was a major influence in him having such a good game. I'm not going to expect him. Let's pump the brakes a little bit on Xavier Worthy in this way. He actually wasn't a major part of the offense. It's just 2 of his plays were touchdowns, and one of them was a complete breakdown in coverage by the Ravens. So I think you actually saw what Xavier Worthy was in the first half with the rushing touchdown. I think he is a big play waiting to happen. I think he's going to be utilized in creative ways. I still don't think he's like a wide receiver 1 every week, but he's going to be a good own for fantasy owners. I just think last night was maybe a bit more than what we should normally expect.
Okay. And my wide receivers, the reason why I asked about that is because everybody in my league is now, hey, you got to, because I have Xavier Worthy on my bench. And
I wouldn't trade him.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Like, hey, are you accepting trades? I was like, dude, it's barely the first season.
No. By the way, you should be considering trades automatically. Like, this is the stock market, and you have an asset that is incredibly valuable. So you should be, if you're gonna trade, like, I would shop trade offers, but it would be for trade. I'm not going to use the term people use out in the real world. I'll just call it a trade roofie, okay? You'd have to slip him a trade roofie because, like, I would want Bijan Robinson, like,
Yeah, Bijan.
you already got him. So I would want like an RB1. I would overreach and have them reject it and then play ball with that.
Okay, yeah, because I have Amari Cooper and Garrett Wilson as my 1 and 2.
Yeah, I would hold on to him because I'm not crazy about Amari Cooper for the whole season, so I'd hold on to him. He could end up being a wide receiver 2 for you.
Okay, man. Well, thanks for the info and have a good day, bro.
You have a great weekend. See you, Felix. Let's get another caller up here. Let's go to Landon. Landon's going to be next on the line. Let's see what Landon wants to talk about. Landon, what's good?
Yo, what's up, man? I just wanted to ask you 2 questions. Number 1, what are your predictions for Josh Jacobs tonight?
Okay, so I think Josh Jacobs is going to have it's good game. I think the Eagles' run defense is really good, especially up the middle with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. I actually think where Josh Jacobs could have a good game is in the passing game, in screens and passes out in the flat. So if you're in a PPR league, I actually think Josh Jacobs has even more value. I'm not crazy about him, but I think he's probably worth a start for a majority of owners because their other options aren't going to be as good.
All right, and my second question, I just want to get your thoughts on my 10-man team. I got Kyler at quarterback, Gibbs and Jacobs at running back, CeeDee, Kupp at receiver, Pitts at tight end, and then Diggs and
Landon, you slid off TikTok, so I can't hear you. You muted yourself. When you go off TikTok, you mute yourself. That said, Landon, if you can't hear me, I think it's a loaded team. What's up?
cut out, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. You just got to stay on the app, or otherwise you mute.
My mic cut out, sorry.
Yep, you're good. That said, I think it's a really, really strong team. I'd give it an A-. I think it's really, really strong. I think it's a playoff team and certainly could win a title.
All right, thank you, bro. Thanks for the advice.
Landon, appreciate you watching the show. Hope you're a follower.
Yep, I am.
Good. If you guys aren't, make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're with us every time that we're live. We're live every single day of the 2024 season, I should say. We'll be live until it's 2025. So make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. If you're on TikTok, make sure you subscribe because we do subscriber-only shows on TikTok. We will do one tonight. I ended up not doing one last night because the delay in the game pushed the end of the game where it was so late and I was kind of tired, so I kind of slacked. But tonight, we will do a subscriber-only show after tonight's game. So if you want additional fantasy advice, make sure you subscribe and make sure you're with us tonight as a subscriber. Let's get another caller up on the line. Next caller that we're going to talk to, spinning wheel of death. User 1372. You got to find a better connection, unfortunately. Let's go to Dylan. Let's see what Dylan be chillin' want to be talking about. Dylan, what's good?
What's going on, buddy? Man, what a heck of a first game for the season.
Unbelievable. Lived up to the hype.
Yes, it was awesome. So just two quick questions for you.
Sure.
How are we feeling with Lively's performance last night?
I certainly like him. I'm not in love with him. I thought it was if you take away the one touchdown that he had, the catch and run, it's kind of more what I would have expected. I think that one play kind of changes everyone's view of him. That and that last drive, the drive in which the Ravens were trying to obviously tie the game late, he became that option on the right sideline. I think last night was probably as good a game as he'll have all season, or pretty close to it.
Okay, the reason I asked is because in my 12-man league, or my 12-person team league that I drafted at work, my tight end was Schultz. So I was wondering, would likely be a target that I should try to go pick up?
If he's available on the waiver wire, sure, but I'm expecting someone else will have him benched by this point.
Okay, if he's available, I'll try to pick him up.
Yeah, exactly.
And then my second question is, quarterback wise, are we feeling Richardson or Stafford this week?
Ooh, it's really close for me.
Because I remember you saying a couple days ago that you think Stafford's gonna go out there and ball out.
I think he's gonna ball out. I think he's gonna have a massive game. The issue I have is Anthony Richardson is so valuable for his rushing yards. I'll say Stafford because I think he has a massive game, and post injury, I don't love this, but I'll say Stafford. I don't feel great about it though because Anthony Richardson gets so much production out of his legs. It's a tricky one, but I'll lean Stafford. I don't feel great about it though.
I'm just Richardson seems to be one of those high risk, high reward players currently, just because of how he tends to run, and coming off that bad injury. He's just kind of that high risk, high reward player.
Yep. True.
Cool. Well, I guess I'll try to decide between those two. And
I lean towards Stafford for the moment, Dylan. But yeah, let me know what you do, and we'll be talking soon.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Be good. Let's get to another call. Let's go to Plugs Burton. Let's see what Plugs Burton wants to talk about. Plugs, what's good?
Hey, my man.
How you living?
So, I'm good, man. So I got a team. I have a 2-quarterback league. It's a 10-team league. So I have Kyler Murray, Anthony Richardson. I have Josh Jacobs, Alvin Kamara, Javonte Williams, and I have Calvin Ridley, Mike Evans, and Jamar Chase. Now, in that, I'm trying to figure out what receiver is probably gonna take a crap this week.
You have Ridley, Williams. You have a couple guys who are in the running to shit their pants this week. Because I'm not crazy about either one of those guys. I think I probably like Ridley more, but both are facing defenses that I'm not crazy about.
Okay, so I think, my next question would be, what would you say the stock on Jameson Williams is?
Oh, I think there's a lot of upside there. Again, I think it's going to be high risk, high reward. It's almost like another rookie wide receiver. Like, he's either going to be a huge gain over the course of the year, or he's going to be worth dropping in week 5 or something like that. But I think he's going to break out. I'm actually pretty high on him, so I think he's worth stashing on your bench and seeing if he breaks through.
All right, man. I didn't have too many crazy questions. I just wanted to get a taste of that one.
Okay, crazy questions are accepted, so the next time you got one, feel free.
All right, man.
Be good. Appreciate the call. If you guys, by the way, again, if you guys want to do some sports betting this weekend, if you're new to it or you just want to try a new sports book, hit the link in my bio for my link tree. Try one of the promo codes. Use their money to bet. Don't use your money. Use their money. So, promos for DraftKings, BetMGM, Underdog, and FanDuel. So give those a try if you want to do some sports betting this weekend. Some of my favorite picks are up on the board if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick. But if you want to get my bets for free every day, DM me on Instagram. ButtFumble Sports. DM me on Instagram. I give away every bet that I make every day for free. It doesn't matter what type of bet, what the odds are. I give away my picks for free. So DM me on Instagram. ButtFumble Sports, if you want to get those picks, DM me now. Let's get over to another caller. We'll take a few more. Let's go to Hawkeye. What's going on, Hawkeye?
Oh, not much, man. Just sitting here listening to your show.
I appreciate it.
I got a couple of questions. I got running backs, James Cook and Connors. And I got Zach Moss Agier, Spears, and J.K. Dobbins on my bench.
Okay.
But I also got Tank Dell as my flex. So I don't know if I got Connor and Cook starting.
As you should. They should start. You're not very deep at running back, so unfortunately it will probably be Dell in the flex because I don't love your other options.
Okay. The only other options I have on my bench is Kincaid and Williams, Mike for the Jets.
Yeah, he's going up against a tough defense, off an injury. I don't quite know what he's going to be yet. He might be a good play in future weeks, but I have my doubts about this week.
Okay. That's what I needed to know. I appreciate
All right,
it.
Hawkeye. If it's an easy one, it's an easy one. You have a great weekend, okay?
You too. Thanks. Bye.
All right, let's get another caller up here. Let's go to Memo. Let's see what Memo wants to talk about. He dropped. Let's get another caller up here. Let's go to John. John's going to be the next caller on the line. John, what's good?
What's going on, my guy?
How you living?
I'm good. You?
Oh, couldn't be better. How can I help you?
So I got like only 2 questions. That's it, because the rest of my lineup's kind of sorted out. But should I start? I know that the Jets have a hard matchup. Should I start the Jets or the Falcons defense? I think the Falcons, right? We're still like trust the Jets. Like I don't know.
No, you should go with the Falcons. What's interesting about it is I'm kind of chuckling in my own head in that you were kind of hoping Russell Wilson would play, because if Russell Wilson played, it'd make the decision really easy, because you know that dude's going to throw a couple picks. But I get the vibe it's going to be Justin Fields, and I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Fields actually has a better offensive day than Russell Wilson would have. I still probably say it's the Falcons because the 49ers are a team I respect, but let's be fair. The Jets defense is really good, so season long, I think you got a good one with the Jets, but I would go Falcons this week.
Yeah, that's why I just picked them up off of waivers. So yeah.
I like the idea. What's your other question, John?
My other question is, should I flex Tank Dell or Jalen Waddle? But I already have Hill and A-Chain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I would have said Waddle. Here's what I would also say. I would trade Waddle.
That's what I'm gonna do.
You're overloaded on that Dolphins offense, so I don't know how long it takes for a trade to clear in your league, but if there was a way to make a trade before Sunday kicked off, I would do that. And by the way, you could say to the person you're trading to, it's not that I don't like Waddle, it's just I'm so loaded on the Dolphins that like you want to get in on this top 5 offense.
When I was picking, because all my mock drafts I had the 3rd pick, and my friend said he was taking CMC first, and then he switched and takes CD because he was a Cowboys fan. And then in my mind, I thought I had CD because that's what I thought I would get. And then when I took Tyreek, people were like, "Yo, what are you doing? You already have 2 other Dolphin players," and I'm like, "Oh, shit."
Yeah, you're a little overloaded. It's okay. Keep Achan and keep Hill and trade Waddle. And Waddle has plenty of value, so you should be able to get a good piece in return.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you remember, but I changed my name. Do you remember Kyrie Shugang?
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, that's me. I just changed my name.
What's good, dude? Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm good. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You have a good day. Hope you're a follower even with the new name.
Yeah, still will and always will be.
Oh, love it, man. Appreciate the loyalty. Really appreciate the viewers here. Okay, Memo, we got you back. Let's see if Memo wants to join this time. Memo, what's good?
Hey, man, first of all, I want to thank you because last year you saved me in the fantasy finals. You told me to put Buckler, like my kicker, Harrison Buckler, and he went crazy, and I literally won because of him.
Well, I'm very happy to know that we did well by you. Good to have you back.
Thanks, and well, I'm a half PPR 10-man league, so my team is literally stacked, so not that much there, but I literally have Nico Collins, Jamar Chase, Rashid Rice, and I also have Drake London as my wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
But my problem is I'm in the deep shit in my tight end. Literally, I have Pat Frymer, and I just grabbed Tyson Hill just because I don't know who to put in right now. I wanted to know who rest of the season after you saw Rice go crazy yesterday. Who do you think I should trade off my wide receivers to try to get an improvement in my tight end?
You have Rice, London, and who are the other wide receivers?
Jamar Chase and Nico Collins.
I'd trade Nico Collins. A lot of mouths to feed in Houston. It's not that I don't like him. He's the one I think could actually regress the most and still has a lot of value right now. So I think he'd be the one I trade.
What tight end do you think I should target? Because right now I'm really scared to target any tight end after I saw Travis Kelce do what he did this yesterday.
That's exactly. I would try to target him. I'd try to target him. I'd target Mark Andrews. Funny enough, the owners of those two tight ends are going to be feeling bad about them today, which means they're going to value them less. Go see if you could take them for a good price.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot, man.
Memo, you have a great day.
You too.
If you guys want help with your fantasy team, feel free to call, or you can just write the comment. We're probably doing a lot of callers, though, to be fair. Let's go to our next caller on the line. Next caller is going to be Adam Fox. Adam Fox, what's good?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Loving life. How you doing?
Hanging in there. Hey, I'm in a 10-man PPR league, and I was just wanting to kind of pick your brain on...
Oh, you got to stay on TikTok, buddy. You got to stay on TikTok. Otherwise, you mute yourself.
I want to go with you on a pick your brain on a 10-man PPR league that I'm in. If I should make any moves or just kind of roll with what I have currently.
Okay.
So my quarterback is Kyler Murray, and then my two running backs are Bijan and Pacheco. And then I have my receivers are Marvin Harrison Jr., Cooper Kupp, and then Rashee Rice are my top three receivers.
Okay.
And then my tight ends, Kittle. On the bench, I have Hollywood Brown, Jameson Williams, and then I also have two running backs, Montgomery and the Raiders running back.
Zamir White.
Yeah.
It's a loaded team. I like the starting lineup you have. You're a little overloaded on the Cardinals and the Chiefs, but that's okay because I love the pieces that you have. This is a playoff team. This is a team that can win a title, so I'm very high on it.
Okay, cool. So just stick with this team, ride it out, and go from there?
That's right.
All right, I appreciate it.
Be good, Adam. Let's go to Mason. Mason's been waiting patiently. Sorry about that, Mason. We had a bunch of callers up in front of you. Sorry about that. Let's go to Mason. Let's see what he wants to talk about. Mason, what's good?
What's up, man?
How you living?
I'm good. How are you?
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. All right, so I've got Zamir, I've got Kyron, Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans, McBride, Seahawks defense, and the Houston kicker. My question is quarterback and flex. So my flex options are Ridley, DJ Moore, or Undunze.
Ridley, DJ Moore, or Dunze. It's DJ Moore by a mile.
Yes, sir. And then my quarterback is Jordan Love or Caleb Williams. I'm kind of iffy on I don't know who to start.
It's Jordan Love.
All right, then my other league, I have Kyler or Jared Goff.
That's a tough one. I'll lean towards Kyler, but that's a coin flip. I just say Kyler because I like the rushing yard opportunity, but that's very close.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate you. Feel bad he was on hold because those were quick questions. That was easy. Let's go to Matt. Let's see what Matt wants to talk about. Matt, what's good?
Yo, first, dude, butt fumble, bro. Last fantasy season, dude, like, I was in your live every weekend, dude. You're, like, actually the man.
I really appreciate that.
So much, dude.
I try my best.
All right, I just got two questions. First, at flex, I have Chris Godwin and Devontae Smith. I'm like, because I know, like, Godwin's, like...
I'd go Devontae Smith just barely. I actually like his matchup tonight. I'll say Smith just barely.
All right, and my second question... I have Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, can you give me can you give me just insight on him, like your thoughts on him?
Marvin Harrison Jr. is a stud. Yeah. Marvin Harrison Jr. might be the most perfected wide receiver prospect entering the NFL out of college since Calvin Johnson came out of Georgia Tech. He's a phenomenal route runner. He's got good size. He's got NFL pedigree, both from a DNA standpoint, but also he's not going to get spooked. Like, he has literally been raised in an NFL locker room. He knows what to expect. He is the clear-cut wide receiver one on that offense. There's no doubt about it. So he's going to get the targets and he's going to get the production. Kyler's healthy, and Trey McBride is a good enough option at tight end where hopefully it draws a safety away from him every now and then. He is going to get a lot of double coverage. That's going to be the disappointment part, but he's going to get a ton of targets. That's what you're hoping for from a wide receiver. So I'm very, very high on him.
All right, so I should feel good then. I actually have one more question too. I know I told you I have two.
Go for it.
For my tight end, I have Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
And I know Isaiah Likely got all the targets yesterday, all the points. How should I look away? Should I look for another tight end or should I keep Andrews?
So I've thought for a while that Mark Andrews was going to regress this year. So yes, I feel like last night kind of validated my opinion, but I also feel like it's not reason to just throw him away. He still has value. I think last night both Andrews and Travis Kelce may have struggled because both opposing defenses recognize how talented they are and they wanted to take them away. That's not going to be the case every week. Most defenses they play won't be able to even do that. So like next week against the Raiders, at home at Baltimore, if you told me Mark Andrews had a 2-touchdown game, it wouldn't surprise me at all. So keep Mark Andrews, but yes, have another tight end on your bench. So in the weeks in which he plays a good defense, like the Steelers, like the Cleveland Browns, that's at least 4 games in his schedule, maybe you start that other tight end because it's a better play for you.
All right. Thank you, man. Keep doing your thing.
I appreciate you being so loyal to the show.
No problem, man.
So now that we've signed off with Matt, make sure you guys hit that follow button. Make sure you're joining us every time we have a show. We will have a subscriber-only show tonight. It'll probably be after the Packers and Eagles game, so very late at night. It will be for subscribers only, but on TikTok. That said, if you subscribe, you can ask as many questions as you want. If you literally have 20 questions, if you want me to pick your team player by player, position by position, I will do that, but only for subscribers on TikTok. Let's go to TTV. TTV is going to be the next caller up on the line. Up, you dropped on me, TTV. Let's go to Garrett Irvin. Garrett Irvin's been waiting patiently. Let's see what Garrett wants to circle back about. Spinning wheel of death on you, Garrett. Not connecting. Sorry about it. Something wrong there. Appreciate everyone who's been with us during the show. Hope you guys are loving the content and the conversation. Again, if you want every bet that I make every single day for free, DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram. I give away my picks for free. Butt Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram. Let's go to another caller. TTV, what's good?
What's up, boss? What did you think about Derrick Henry yesterday?
He kind of did what I expected. 1, he got a touchdown, but 2, he didn't fit in this offense. I actually think when they acquired Derrick Henry this offseason, the Ravens took a square piece and tried to put it into a round hole. It doesn't work that way. You're going to have to reconfigure your offense to accommodate him. He is not a plug-and-play running back, especially at this age, and especially with how he likes to play. So I'm not shocked with how he performed. I think he's got good weeks ahead of him, depending on the opponent, but I think it's going to take a little bit of time for the Ravens, from a schematic standpoint, to figure out how to use him.
For sure. And could you rate my 12-man team?
Sure.
I got Josh Allen, A.J. Brown, D.J. Moore, Derrick Henry, Zamir White, Kittle, Jerome Ford, Brian Robinson Jr.
Your wide receiver position is fantastic. You know what I'm going to tell you. Your running back position is weak. And it's weak in a way where it lacks top-end talent and it lacks depth. I'd give the team a B. If your running backs somehow overperform my expectations, it's a B+. But yeah, you're hoping Derrick Henry is a clear-cut RB1. And funny enough, during draft season, I was warning a lot of owners that I think Derrick Henry is going to perform more like an RB2 this year than an RB1. And I think that's what's going to hold you back.
Yeah, for sure. All right, thank you, bro. Keep it up, man.
Appreciate it. Hope you're a follower.
Always have been.
Oh, wonderful. Love the loyalty I'm getting from you guys. If you guys want to join the show as a guest, I'm willing to continue to take some calls. We've been live for a minute now. We've been live for about an hour and 45 minutes, actually. If you guys want to join the show as a guest, I don't know why the comments are doing that, but okay, let's get back to the comments here. Cherry, thanks so much for subscribing. Carson, I like golf. Carson, I'd go golf. DYL Co, I'd go Ridley just barely, though I don't love it. Polgwin, pick one. I'd go Shakir. Polgwin, I'd go Shakir. Sports Talk 2217, love the commentary, love the opinions. I'd love for you to join the show, bud. Daily Sports 31. I haven't actually taken a guest on Instagram. I'm willing to give it a try, though. So if you guys want to join the show as a guest on Instagram, I'm willing to give it a try. I've done it on TikTok. Haven't done it on Instagram yet. But if someone wants to join the show, like Sports Talk 2217, feel free to hit me up. We'll give it a try. Gavin, start two. I'd start Cup and Terry. Cup and Scary Terry. Jay, Kirk or Javante. It's really close, but I'll go Christian Kirk just barely. Amiza, Vikings defense, Jets defense. I'll go Vikings. I trust Daniel Jones to poop his pants. Perla, I'd go... Perla, that's a tough one for me. I might lean slightly towards Amari Cooper. I just think he has a slightly higher floor. Let's go to Dale. Dale's going to be our next caller on the line. Let's see what Dale wants to talk about. Dale, what's good? Dale, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I got you. How you living?
Good, brother, good. So, just got a quick flex question. I got Amari Cooper, or I got Scary Terry on the bench. Who are you starting this week?
Scary Terry McLaurin. I'm very, very high on him.
All right, cool. Now, a little betting question. The line keeps going up and down with this Philly money score line. It was at 3, then it dropped down to 2.5. It's at 2 now. I was able to get it at 2.5 at plus 100. What do you think of the value of that?
You're talking about tonight's game?
Yes, sir.
And which side do you have?
I got Philly giving 2.5 at plus 100.
Yeah, I love it. I'm taking Philly at the minus 1.5. I'm super high on it, so I really like it overall. I took Philly on the money line. I'm taking them at the minus 1.5 because the line moved. If you took them at minus 2.5, I think you're good as well. I just feel like the line movement is showing that the Packers are getting love for reasons I don't understand. Their offensive line has a lot of question marks. I think the Eagles got more talented at a number of positions, especially in the secondary. So I like the Eagles.
Awesome. Now, one more thing I was going to ask you. My personal perspective on tonight's game is they both went out and got brand new shiny toys at running back. I personally believe this is going to be a running back kind of game. Do you think that this 49 over-under...
I don't necessarily agree with you. The defensive front, as I mentioned, Packers have some new players on the offensive line. Lends itself to some doubt there. But Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, those guys are beasts, and they're going to be tough in the run game. So, to get around at least. So, I think that Jordan Love's going to have to pass the ball more. So, I could see the Eagles being successful running, but the Packers may have to go through the air. I'm kind of with you. That total kind of tricky. I do like the over, but I bought it down. I took over 45.5. You could get that at like minus 160. So, for how you were thinking earlier, I did a same game parlay. Eagles money line over 45.5.
Awesome, brother. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the help.
Thanks so much, Dale. Appreciate you watching the show.
Bye.
Oh, wonderful to have you guys joining. Let's get Mark on the line. Let's see what Mark wants to talk about. Mark, what's good? Mark, you with us? Mark, going once. Going twice. Sold. Mason Meyer. Mason Meyer's going to be next on the line. Let's see what Mason wants to talk about. Mason, what's good?
Good, man. How are you? Can you hear me?
I can. How you living?
Perfect. This is kind of like my first year doing fantasy football, but I still kind of have a good knowledge, with the game and stuff like that.
Sure.
But I just have one quick question. So for my flex, I already have CD and Drake London as my two wide receivers that are locked. But I just don't know if I should I either have DJ Moore on my bench for my flex or Malik Neighbors. So I'm kind of caught in the pinch of I don't know if
I'm going to actually say something to you. I'm not crazy about Drake London this week.
Okay.
I kind of think it's close for me. DJ Moore would be my wide receiver 2. And in the flex, it's close between Neighbors and Moore. And London, rather. Maybe I lean towards Drake London barely because I kind of know what he is. And I'm trusting him with Kirk Cousins. But I think that matchup against the Steelers is not a favorable one. That's a tough defense to go up against. He'll probably be facing Joey Porter Jr., who's a pretty good corner. I don't know. That's one in which you could talk me into Neighbors actually being a flex play instead of London.
Yeah, okay. I just didn't know because, I mean, I feel like it's hard to base off of the pick like a rookie, you know.
I agree, and that's why I'm saying if you wanted to go London, I'd get it. But if you're willing to take a bit of risk here, I actually think this is one in which it might be worth taking the chance.
Okay, man, I appreciate it, man. That's the only question I have for you, man. Enjoy the show.
Mason, have a great day.
Thanks, man. You too.
Let's go to 92 Sheetbox. 92 is going to be next on the line. 92, what's good?
Yo, how you doing?
Loving life. How you doing?
Pretty good, thank you. So I played Rashi yesterday at my flex, and then I have Jameer as my RB1, and then I have Demont and Ramondre. Who should I start at RB2?
Hit me with that one more time.
Demont and Ramondre. I'm debating who I should put at the RB2. My flex spot is already full.
I'd go David Montgomery. The Patriots' offensive line is awful. It is awful.
Stack him with Jameer? Because I have Jameer at my RB1.
The answer is probably yes, because I'm just banking on Montgomery getting a touchdown. If Montgomery gets a touchdown, it's worth it, because Gibbs will get his points in the passing and the running game. So I'll say yes, but you might need to make a trade at the running back position just for somebody else, maybe to free something else, because I'm not a big believer in Ramondre Stevenson this year. So you're going to run into this issue over and over.
All right. And then what do I do with Andrews? Because I have him. And yesterday, I don't really like the way...
Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Look, I thought he would regress this year, so I'm not surprised, and I'm not going to say that he's going to be an elite tight end this year. He's not going to be a top 5 tight end, but I've thought that for a while. Where I do think he still has value is against some of these lesser opponents that they'll play. I thought last night was I also thought the Chiefs, they wanted to take him away. The Chiefs' defense is a smart defense. Not every defense can pull that off. So I wouldn't trade him. I wouldn't drop him. If you wanted to trade him, fine, but you better have a replacement that's just as good. And it's hard to say that you do. So what I would say is just hold on there, but look on the waiver wire for someone who can step in when he plays the Browns, when he plays the Steelers, and when he plays other really good defenses.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, Mav, let's go to you next. Mav's going to be the next on the line. Mav's been a really loyal viewer today. Hope he's having a good day. Let's see. Mav, what's good?
Hey.
Oh, we went to the wrong one. Mav's still on hold. Sorry. User 8097, what's good?
Not much, man. I got a couple questions. I got Caleb Williams. Somehow I got Jane Daniels. I got both of them. I don't know who to trust week 1.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's a bit of a coin flip for me. I lean slightly, I think, actually towards Jaden Daniels because I like the rushing yards that he could pick up. I know Caleb Williams has the better weapons, but it's a bit of a coin flip for me because they're rookies. You know, it really is a guess because we can't take any data from the past on them.
Yeah, no, for sure. Receivers and flex-wise, I got who I have Javonte Williams, Drake London, and Terry McLaurin, and I need to pick 2 out of the 3 guys.
Well, this decision actually impacts my quarterback decision because I don't want to be stacked with Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. That's a little bit too much Commanders for me, and I do want to play Terry McLaurin because I actually think he could have a really good week. So I'll play Caleb Williams and I'll start Terry McLaurin, and that way I'm not overstacking on the Commanders.
Yeah. All right, I like it. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Have a great week.
Yeah.
Let's go to Mav. Sorry about that, Mav. I don't know how you got jumped over, but let's see what Mav wants to talk about. Mav's on the line. What's good, Mav?
What's up, dude?
How you living?
Man, I'm blessed, man. Every day. Another day, baby.
You know it, dog. You know it.
So I got a question. So I got Smitty, right?
and I can trade to get McLaurin, but I'm trying to go to get Mike Evans. What do you think?
Try, give me that one more time.
So I'm trying to trade to get Terry McLaurin, right? But I want to get Mike Evans. I have a for sure trade with Terry
I like
McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin. I'd take Terry McLaurin over Mike Evans this year.
Ooh. Okay.
It's about where they are in their careers, their age, the quarterbacks they're working with. I actually like Terry McLaurin to have a really big year.
Damn. Over Smitty.
Devontae Smith? Yeah. Devontae Smith is a wide receiver 2 on his team. So the addition of Saquon Barkley, the fact that he's got other mouths to feed in that offense, there's only so much production he can get. They can only target him so many times. He'll have his breakout games. Like, I think Devontae Smith could have a really good game tonight. But do I think that he can produce consistently week to week at the same level Terry McLaurin is? No, because he's going to get fewer targets. He won't be given the opportunities at the same rate.
I like that, man. And then can you rate my squad real quick? I got
Joe
Burrow. I got Isaiah Pacheco. What's his name? Taylor from Jonathan Taylor. And then I got St. Brown, Jamar Chase, Evan Ingram, and Smitty.
It's a loaded team. I give it a high B+, low A- right now. I think it absolutely could win the championship.
Ooh. All right, man. Thank you.
You have a good one, Mav.
Thanks, man.
Let's go to Jeremiah. Jeremiah's going to be next on the line as we continue to take callers. Hope you guys are enjoying the show and the content. Jeremiah, what's good?
That's good.
How you living?
So, good. How are you?
Oh, couldn't complain if I wanted to. Go ahead.
So I was asking about my fantasy team, right? So I have both my quarterbacks. I have Anthony Richardson and I have Tua. Who do you think I should start this week?
It's really tough. Someone asked a similar question earlier. I like Richardson's opportunity to get rushing points, but I think Tua's going to have a big game through the air. It's really close for me. I think I lean slightly towards Tua, in part because I'm not very high on Tua, so the weeks, if I had him on my team, the weeks I could play him, I probably would, because I'm just not high on him for the whole year. I'd probably say Tua this week, but I'm on the fence. It's very close.
Yeah.
It's all about whether Anthony Richardson gets a rushing touchdown. If he does, you'll be kicking yourself if you start Tua. But I think Tua could have one of those like 275-yard, 3-touchdown passing games against the Jaguars.
Yeah, I feel like we'll have like 200 to 300,000 yards. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe not 1,000, but 100. Yeah.
I mean, Tyreek Hill. He's the future. He's the best of the best. So. You never know.
Okay. I feel like he's more the present than the future. But anyways, Jeremiah, anything else we can help you with?
Can I get your opinion on the Packers Eagles game? What do you think the score is going to be? Who's going to win?
Sure. Okay, so first things first, if you guys want my picks for free every day, just DM me on Instagram. I give away all my picks for free every day. So DM me on Instagram, ButtFumble Sports, if you ever want them. The picks I'm making for tonight's NFL game, I'm taking the Eagles on the money line. I have the Eagles winning. I also love that the line movement has gone in my favor. I like Eagles -1.5. Eagles on the money line, Eagles -1.5. I like that that's come in my direction over the last few hours. And as for the total, I don't love where it's set right now. I think this game goes to 50. I don't want to play that line, that total where it's set right now. I don't feel great about it. I'm taking over 45.5. At most sports books, you can get that at like -160. So I like Eagles to win. Eagles -1.5. Eagles Packers over 45.5 points. And a couple of player prop bets I like. I like Saquon Barkley over half an anytime touchdown. And I like Jordan Love over 250 plus passing yards. So Jordan Love, 250 plus passing yards. There you go, Jeremiah.
Thank you.
Hope you have a great night.
You too, Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll? I don't think I look anything like Jelly Roll. I'm not that good looking. Anyways, if you guys want to use some of the promo codes that are available to you so you can bet other, the sports books money, check out the link in my bio. You can use DraftKings, FanDuel, Underdog, BetMGM. If you guys haven't used those sports books and you want to do some sports betting, use the promos that we have going on, okay? Hit the link in my bio, takes you to my link tree. By the way, you can get our merch, you can support the show, you can sign up for our free newsletter, so hit that link to our link tree. It'll be worth your time. Let's go to Jet. It's been a while since we've seen Jet. Jet, what's good?
Hey, what's going on, man? I know it's been a good baseball season though.
It has been a great baseball season. You gotta stay on TikTok, otherwise you're gonna mute yourself. Just a reminder.
Oh, okay, no worries. I was just checking out my team. I found myself in a little bit of a predicament. I'm pretty stacked on QBs, RBs, kicker, tight end, pretty much everything. Or maybe a little light on tight end, but I'm super light on wide receivers. I was wondering if there's anybody that you recommend keeping an eye on that might be on waivers or free agents, I should say, for the next the first few weeks of the season.
Shakir, if Shakir of the Bills is available, I'm very high on him. I think he could emerge very quickly. Someone that I think has value, and I'm actually being kind of gaslit into bringing up his name right now, is actually Courtland Sutton. I think Courtland Sutton's got a bit more value than we would have expected earlier in the year. So I think there's reason to believe that he actually could be a good pickup if he's available, because in a number of leagues he is. I keep my eye on the rookie wide receivers. Brian Thomas Jr., though he's owned in a number of leagues. Mitchell of the Colts could be a good own. He'd probably be a good stash on your bench for the first few weeks of the season. Those are a couple of names that come to mind. Ladd McConkey's owned in most leagues. Mike Williams of the Jets, he's now been cleared to play. I think he's got some maybe long-term value now that we know he's going to be good to go.
Okay, another quick one too. For tight end, I just kind of got the short end of the stick. I have a Njoku and then Freiermuth on my bench. I don't really trust either of them.
I like Njoku this week.
You think so?
Yep.
How about going forward in the season? Because I think
I feel pretty good about starting him most weeks. No, Njoku is a pretty good. Njoku's a dog. Njoku's a beast. This dude can get burned on the face and show up to play football. Like, he is reliable. He's tough. He finds ways to get open. I think he's more athletic than people recognize. Like, he has some wide receiver skills, though truly being a tight end because of his size. He has good chemistry with Deshaun Watson, but he's proven in past seasons that when Deshaun Watson's out for suspension or injury, he can play with the backups just as well. So I'm pretty high on Njoku. Is he a top 5 tight end? No. Is he a top 8 tight end? Maybe, because those weeks where he performs well, he might be a top 7, top 8 kind of tight end.
Sweet. Sounds good. Appreciate you taking the call, man.
Awesome, Jet. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too, man. Bye.
If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're with us every time we're live. We're live every single day. So make sure you follow and make sure you subscribe. We will do a show tonight for subscribers only on TikTok. That way those who have a ton of questions can get them all answered. I answer not just one, but 15, 20, 100 questions if you want. So make sure you subscribe on TikTok. We'll do that subscriber-only show the moment the Packers-Eagles game ends. I'll be watching that game, and the moment it ends, I'll jump on TikTok and I'll do a subscriber-only show. Let's go to Anthony. Anthony's going to be the next caller on the line. Let's see what Anthony wants to talk about. Spinning wheel of death, so let's see if Anthony can connect. No. Oh, Anthony, what's good?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Love and life. How can we help you?
Yeah, I wanted your opinion on the whole T. Higgins situation. I was really high on him earlier, especially knowing the whole Jamar Chase stuff. So, yeah, I don't know how to feel about him. I had him starting on my flex on all my leagues, and now I don't know what to do. So, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, injuries, so, that's how I feel about him not playing this week. As for T. Higgins season long, I was never high on him. I'm just not as high on the Bengals offense. There are a lot of question marks. That team is not going in the direction I wanted to. Their offensive line wasn't as good last year as I wanted it to be. It should be better this year, but still, I just have some doubts. And in most of my leagues, I treated Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and T. Higgins as the players that I wanted other people to take, so guys would fall to me in my pick. I think T. Higgins, There are weeks he's going to be a great wide receiver, but you're going to be battling inconsistency all season long.
Got it. Because I picked up Andrade Yoshi off the waivers just in case, but I mean, I was like, I don't really know who to start on flex because I don't have that many other receivers. I believe my starting lineup right now currently is I have Dak, CeeDee Lamb, Cooper Kupp, Isaiah Joe Mixon, my flex, and then Jake, George Kittle as my tight end. So I think everything's pretty solid except I don't have.
Yeah, no, everything's solid except that flex. Yeah, that's the only issue. So if you can solve the flex, I think you've got a dub.
For sure, brother. Well, thank you so much for your time, bro. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Anthony. Hope you're a follower. Let's get to another caller. Let's go to Shelly. Let's see what Shelly wants to talk about. Shelly's going to next caller on the line. Shelly, what's good?
Hey, so I have a question for you.
Go for it.
So, with Jamar Chase being questionable, who I got... So
Jamar Chase is going to play, just so we know. Just so you know.
Oh, he is?
He is. He's going to play. Go ahead.
Do I start him?
Give me your other options. Go ahead.
Okay. Tyler Lockett.
Yep.
D-Hop.
Yep.
Tyler Lockett, D-Hop. Trying to think who else I have.
Right now, it's not even close. It's Jamar Chase is the play. So, as long as he's actually playing, he's definitely the option.
Okay. All right. That's good for me. I took your advice on starting Lamar last night.
On starting who?
Lamar over Allen.
Hey, that worked out. Lamar had a good game. I wish he had gotten you one more passing touchdown, but yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for everything, man.
Shelly, you have a great weekend.
You too.
Let's get another caller up on the line. Let's go to Brady Kaufman. Let's see what Brady Kaufman wants to talk about. Brady, what's good?
Not too much. I want to get your thoughts on a trade that I made. I had Brandon Ayuk, Jonathan Taylor, and Raheem Mostert, and I traded for James Cook, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Chase Brown. And it was a bit of an overpay, but I was okay with it because Mostert was just sitting on my bench because I already had James Conner in my flex. And I really wanted a bona fide wide receiver one since it's a PPR league. The other thing was I also have McLaurin and Ridley sitting on my bench, so I wondered what your thoughts were on that trade.
I'm very high on McLaurin. I think it's a good trade. I get your point, though. You might have given up a little much, but at the same time, you knew what you were going for, and I actually like it overall. I don't think it's as bad as... I wouldn't be overly concerned about it.
Right, yeah. And then my other question was this. Would you consider James Conner or James Cook as your week-to-week second
James
running back?
Cook.
I have threes.
James Cook.
Okay. Yeah, it's a 10-team league, and I got Hurts, Brees, Cook, Amon-Ra, DJ Moore, Trey McBride, and James Conner. So it should be a pretty solid.
It's a very solid team. Really like it. Really like it.
All right. Well, appreciate your thoughts on that.
Have a great night, Brady.
Yeah, you too.
Let's take another call. Let's go to Brandon for beers. Brandon for beers. Let's see what he's drinking tonight. Brandon, what's good?
Hey man, how's it going?
Loving life. How you doing?
Same. So my quick question for you is starting RB2 on my lineup, Dynasty. I got Stevenson, Chase Brown, or Zeke. I'm super worried about Stevenson just because he's inconsistent.
And the offensive line sucks. I'm leaning towards Chase Brown. Believe it or not. I don't love it because he's not a true RB1 on the Bengals. Normally, I would say Stevenson because he's the true RB1 on the Pats. But I just don't love the offensive line of the Patriots. It has me really concerned. I'd lean Chase Brown barely, though I don't feel great about it.
Is that for week 1 or rest of season?
Oh, that's for week 1 and probably rest of season, as it probably turns out, because I just so hate the Patriots' O-line.
Okay, so I have Kenneth Gainwell on my bench. Is he worth a drop?
He doesn't give you any value. Yeah, I just... you've got a running back issue. You're going to need to make a trade to upgrade at running back. I think Chase Brown could be a solution, but I don't think that's going to win you a title. Maybe it gets you into the playoffs, but I don't think it's good enough to win the title.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Have a good day. Okay, folks, we have been on now for over 2 hours, believe it or not. We started the show at 4:30 this afternoon, so we've been live for about 2 hours, 15 minutes. Pretty good show. A lot of viewers, a lot of subscribers, and hopefully a lot of good entertainment for those viewers out there. Hope you guys love the content, the conversation. If you did, follow, like, subscribe, join this amazing community of sports fans. If you want my picks for free every day, DM me on Instagram. Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram. DM me. Butt Fumble Sports, the name of my company. Butt Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram. I give away all of my picks for free. They're never behind a paywall. I never charge for them. DM me on Instagram if you want every bet that I make every single day. I love helping you guys out the best that I can. I'll never charge you for them, so DM me on Instagram. If you want to play some sports bets and you want to use a promo code for sportsbooks, check out my link tree. The link is in my TikTok bio. Underdog, DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, they're all back in the show. They all have promo codes going right now. Go check them out right now. Because if you haven't used that sportsbook before, maybe they're offering a better market. Use their money. Their promo codes are going to be available to you. Use them while you can. Finally, we will do a subscriber-only show tonight. A show exclusively for subscribers on TikTok. If you want me to answer your questions, it could be as many questions as you want. Subscribe on TikTok. Join us for our show tonight. It's going to be on after the Packers and Eagles game. So after Packers and Eagles, I'm going to go on TikTok only for subscribers. So if you want your questions answered, you can ask as many as you want. Subscribe on TikTok. Join us tonight. It's going to be late at night. So what? It's a Friday night. What do you got going on? So join us tonight. Subscriber-only show. I really can't wait to talk some more fantasy football with you. I just got to go grab some dinner and get ready for this football game, because otherwise I'm going to miss out. So have a great night. Enjoy some good baseball action. Enjoy a great football game. And I will see you later tonight on TikTok exclusively for subscribers, okay? Enjoy your evening. I hope you guys stay healthy. I hope you stay safe. Thanks for a great show, everybody. 2 hours, 15 minutes. It flew by because you guys are awesome and you guys make it an easy show. So thanks so much for being wonderful. Can't wait to see you and talk to you guys again later this evening. Until then, goodbye, everybody.